Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Viral, and across from me is my co-host, Adam Nilsson. And on Zoom, we have Dusty Nixon, and we're back.
Yeah.
After a hiatus.
Yeah.
Because
we're busy.
Thought that was the normal schedule now.
Once a month, yeah.
It's getting there. I'm not proud of that, just so that everyone knows. Like, I don't do that on purpose.
I tried to have a podcast last week.
It's true. Robbie tried really hard. I didn't have a good week.
You got called into emergency cut.
A big one.
And then I set up
the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and I set up the podcast down here, got it all squared away, so it's just like a single person at the table. Sent out the invite to Dusty and Dalton. Both ignored me. We're in the group chat, and they're like talking, ignoring my email. I tried.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
I checked in after like 15 minutes.
With friends like these, you don't even need enemies, Robbie.
I know.
So
you had important Sports Car Club of America business to deal with anyway. So
yeah, but I could have skipped that. I was planning to skip it.
Yeah. So in fairness, you and me could have done it, but
no, it's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same. But I am genuinely excited to hear your feelings about it because you were a virgin.
Yeah.
We popped that cherry good, Robbie.
It was a good one.
He could barely walk the next day. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yikes.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong.
Literally and proverbially.
Yeah. Yep.
I slept in a trailer on an air mattress after going to bed at 2:30 and 3:30. It was a little difficult getting going in the morning. So
festival's weird because it's rough on a person in ways that a normal track day isn't.
I paced myself so I talked to like 3 different people, including Eric Coutil. I was like, yeah, it's my first time here. And they were like, pace yourself.
And Tommy was like, here, have a Slizzy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So many slushies consumed this weekend. Tommy came out to party, and he was serious about it. So
yeah, he did a good job.
It was a good weekend. So
I technically have 2 festivals to talk about if we want to do a brief LS Fest.
Yeah, I was going to talk about like my actual on-track stuff because nobody cares. So I just talk about that real fast, and then we'll...
That's not what people are here for.
Exactly.
We can talk about LS Fest real quick because I am kind of
I don't have any pictures of that, by the way.
I am kind of curious about it. Everyone knows what an LS looks like. It's fine.
Yeah, it was a lot of Corvettes and Camaros.
I'm shocked.
There was one thing that Dusty mentioned that was interesting to me, and that was that drifting is not nearly as much fun to watch when all of the engines are the same. Because part of the excitement of drifting is
noise,
the audio part of it,
right? And
part of that is the variations. And when they're all semi-rowdy open header LSs with a decent cam in them, they all sound the same.
You're not wrong.
So there was variation because there was everything from like a 5.3 with a little bit of a cam to like Nate Hamilton that has a fully built, I don't remember if it's a Magnuson or what blower it is. So there's a wide range of stuff, but
that's fair.
In the end, it's not a 2J next to big inch Ford, like like Vaughn and Chelsea have and stuff like that. So,
right.
But the more interesting observation I had around drift there was the fact that the crowd cleared out as soon as the burnout pit opened. So like people like watching drifting until there's people just like burning their stuff to the ground,
drifting without moving.
Yeah,
that's just stationary drifting at that point.
Yeah. So like the logistics of it were much improved over last year. They had a lot more staff and everything just flowed a lot more smoothly. And then it wasn't 100,000 degrees out there because it was earlier in the year. So all in all, it was a much more pleasant experience to be there than what it was last year. And at the end of the day, it's still one of the only places in the world that you can go and have like 1,000 horsepower LSs doing burnouts on one side of you and doing speed stop on another side of you and then doing drifting on another side of you. So
it does sound like a very busy event.
it was extremely busy. There was like at one point everything was going on all at once and it was like, I don't know where to go. I want to take pictures of all of it, but so yeah, I'm still working my way through all of the photos from it. It's like 4,000 of them or 3,000 of them or something, but yeah, should be a gallery sometime in the next week or so.
Eventually.
I'll do a few of them like we've done with the Gridlife stuff, but
my eyes won't stop watering. I don't know why.
It's because you have horrible allergies all the time.
Yeah, probably. And I just got done standing in a tall grouping of weeds trying to catch a fish.
Well, that's because you're covered in ticks now.
Yeah, probably. It's fine.
It's not fine.
I just brought them into your house. It's fine, Robbie.
They'll go with the ones the dogs brought in. Yeah.
So anyway, if you see me rubbing my eyes, that's what's going on.
You're just crying the normal amount.
I'm not crying. I'm just
a normal amount.
I'm just so excited.
He's glad I had a good experience at LS Fest.
Finally, at least somebody did.
Yeah.
So yeah, in summary, if there's an LS Fest near you, go check it out.
I don't think that's probably the closest. Well,
Yeah.
I think there's one at NCM, which probably isn't any closer than Dallas.
Like maybe an hour or two.
And then there's Dallas and Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas.
And then I think there's one down southeast too, isn't there?
No, that's the three main ones are Bowling Green, Texas, and Vegas. So, but they seem to be.
I'm sorry, Robbie.
What are you doing?
It keeps falling down and thumping into my chest, and I want to spin it around one more time, but I can't do it with the mic in the holder. And so I was trying to do it really quietly, and I was failing epically.
Hold on, I get it in a second.
Take a month off and he forgets how to broadcast.
I quit. No, I deal with this mic every week. It just always wants to go thump.
And he never fixes it.
It just falls right into my chest.
Ridiculous.
Just need to wrap some fiber optic cable around it to tighten it up.
I need to tighten this nut right here.
Yeah, so it's got.
And right here, but that's different. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's probably still the closest one to us.
So, yeah, if we're going to go, we're
not going to do that.
Go to Dusty's house.
We're not going to. I mean, we could do that.
Yeah.
But
if you're going to go to one, I highly recommend Bowling Green. But
we don't have free accommodations in Bowling Green.
Yeah, there's that. But
I mean, we'll just crash in your house, whether we've been invited or not. Don't get me wrong.
I fully expect that.
Or we'll go stay at his dad's house, sleeping in the childhood bedroom of Dusty. That would be amazing.
That sounds great.
I want to see what posters are on that wall. Because they're still there. He's an only child. There's no way that room's been touched since he moved.
No, it's a shrine to who he was in high school.
Exactly.
Yeah, y'all are sorely mistaken. That room got made over a long time ago.
Yeah, mine got changed.
I think it's been made over twice since I lived there. So
my parents are 3 or 4 houses in since I moved out.
Yep, my parents have completely redone the whole upstairs. Actually, no, my sister's is the same.
Is she the youngest?
Yeah.
She is the youngest, isn't she? For some reason, for a minute there, I was thinking Thomas was between you.
He is, yeah. I'm the oldest. Thomas is the middle, and then my sister is the youngest.
I'm sorry, I was thinking he was the youngest for some reason. For a second there, I was like, wait, what? They remodeled his room and not hers? What? But
where'd you get that?
I had to pick up a souvenir on the way out of the airport.
Oh, yeah. They have a ray gun store.
There's a ray gun store at the airport, isn't there?
Yep. Well,
Des Moines.
And it helps that I dropped him off like super early.
Well, yeah, because he just walked right through security.
It takes 5 minutes to get from the feet hit the ground to the actual airplane.
The longest I've ever waited at Des Moines International is like 15 minutes.
I did 20 minutes during Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
they actually went up they have the line to go to TSA.
Yeah.
Then it has like 2 things. You always just kind of skip the back half.
Yeah.
It's like not even accessible.
Yeah.
I actually went up the back half.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's how many people were there.
That's rough.
There was like 50 people.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Unreal.
I can't believe you made your flight.
I know.
So
I always show up early anyways.
For anyone that's not watching the YouTube, I bought a koozie on the way through the airport. And it says Des Moines, French for the Moines.
The Moines.
the Moines. I'm fairly certain it's Indian.
I have no idea.
I think it's Indian.
I don't know anything about our city.
So I saw it on a t-shirt first and I was like, I have way too much stuff shoved into this case and this backpack already to buy a t-shirt. I do have room to fit that in there
Also,
though.
I don't want to know what Ray Gun charges for a T-shirt in an airport.
The koozie was like $5.
Yeah, so I bet the shirt's like 30.
Yeah.
It's like the ones downtown are not cheap either.
No.
It's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
Expensive shirts.
Right.
And everybody buys them.
Yeah, except me.
Yeah.
I don't own a single thing.
I don't really like the shirts that have all the stuff on it, like sayings and whatnot.
It depends on what the saying is.
Just logos. I like being a walking billboard. So
If you give
for a
me a
good
shirt,
cause.
Yeah.
I'll wear it.
oh yeah, for sure.
Unless it has some vulgar political statement on it.
Yeah, if it's political, I'm
Then
out.
I probably won't wear it.
Whatever happened to that shirt?
I don't know. What'd you do to it, Robbie?
It was down here.
Oh, it's right over here on the floor. It fucking belongs.
But to say, I put it on the back of the of Adam's chair whenever.
Yeah,
I
no, it's laying
touched
on-
it and
it's
got to
laying on the
experience
floor
it.
here
Its
behind me.
greatness.
What a...
No one has claimed it yet.
Oh, I
either.
know who it claimed. I know who did it.
Did it?
I am sworn to secrecy.
Oh, for goodness sakes!
And for the record,
Just-
it's not over.
Oh, good. I was hoping it wouldn't be over.
Are you sworn to secrecy just from Robbie?
I have decided not to tell anyone else
Aw.
because I just feel like that's the right thing to do.
Hey, didn't you get something in the mail?
Oh shit, I forgot it. They expect that from me though.
Oh yeah, they knew.
Yeah.
If they
Well,
wanted,
we took
if
it
they
about
wanted it
If
on
they
the
wanted
show,
it
they would have
quickly.
mailed it.
Yeah, if
here.
they wanted it here quickly, they would have mailed it to you instead.
Yep.
They'll hear
It's
about it
even
on the
something
July
I like.
episode.
I genuinely want to give it to you so that I can wear it because I think it's hilarious.
Wait, what?
There's a shirt for you and for me.
Oh, good.
They're both for. There's one for you and one for me. They're
Oh no, I was
this-
talking about. I was talking about the book you got yesterday or like 2 days ago.
Oh, I don't know where that came from.
Oh, could have been from anybody.
Oh, I have shirts at home too.
Oh, I forgot about the shirts. I was just thinking about the book,
I totally spaced on the book.
but that was like a nice gift.
It was a nice gift. But I have shirts at home that have themes, but my shirt and your shirt are different, but the theme is the same.
Okay.
And then I have a bunch of stickers.
All right. Not Next month.
Will these shirts annoy liberals?
And conservatives.
Only if you're not in on the joke.
Oh boy.
I think you'll wear this one.
All right.
I think you'll wear this one. I'll wear it.
All right then.
And I wouldn't wear that.
No.
You couldn't pay me to wear that thing.
No.
I saw a guy at lunch wearing a shirt that was in the same kind of genre as that shirt, and I just laughed to myself.
I can confirm that is a one-off shirt.
Is it?
He went and found that on a weird Facebook page.
Yep.
Where a person of his being probably shouldn't spend a lot of time
Okay.
found that on there and then had it printed, and he wasn't sure that they would actually print it.
Custom Ink will take your money. They don't care.
Yeah.
Apparently, Custom Ink has no moral compass.
They don't care.
Although I would imagine that's probably not even the worst thing that's been
Oh,
sent
not even
to Custom
close.
Ink.
Yeah, not even close.
They looked at it and they were like, "This is equally offensive to both sides."
Do you think
We'll
that the
print it. It's
person who
fine.
printed that still thinks about it and giggles to themselves like I do?
I would hope so.
At least it brought joy to somebody's life besides me.
Well, anyone that listened to the show.
I was talking to Eric
So-
Jensen at Gridlife,
Yep.
right? And it's weird to me that Eric Jensen listens to this garbage
Yes.
because he's like a professional human being with like a real job.
He owns like a business.
Yeah, like he's a very successful individual.
Yes.
Apparently we have a handful of very successful individuals who listen to this. I don't know why. But anyway, I was talking to Eric Jensen, and he made a comment about how he thinks it's just hilarious that our friends do this shit to us, and it's the best part. And I'm like, well, I'm glad somebody enjoys it, because I hate this.
No, I love coming home and seeing a package going, oh, fuck. Now what?
I didn't order anything from Amazon. Oh,
come on.
The book that I got, I don't remember what it was. What was it called? Something about catching crawdads or something like that. I don't know who sent it to me, but it is a genuinely nice gift.
Yeah, no, somebody asked for your address the other day, and I just blindly gave it to them. And then they responded with, actually, it's for a nice gift. I was like, well, I don't really care at this point.
Wow. Catch a crawfish, count the stars for fun projects, skills, and adventures for outdoor kids.
Yeah.
And it's a really good one. I like it a lot. I haven't had time to really flip through it, but what little I have looked at it, it's very interesting. So
we have some fans that
thank you, mystery
to.
person, because there was no gift receipt, no nothing.
No,
so I don't know.
There
who
never is.
Total stranger, and I genuinely appreciate.
Yep. Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but I could go look. I'm not gonna, but I could.
I gotta move.
Nah, if someone asks for your address, I just give it to them. I just assume it's for the podcast.
I'm gonna move and not tell you where I moved.
I'll find you. It's not that hard.
Get a P.O. box, something like that.
Yeah, most podcasts I think have a P.O. box, but
that's the smart move. Yeah,
I'm gonna get my house blurred out on Google like Dusty.
Oh, that'd be nice. I'm on a gravel road, so I don't get the street view. I think. I'm pretty sure.
The best part of having the people before you opt out of Street View and having your house blurred is people send us things all the time that are offers for our house. It's got a little window in it with the Street View picture of the house, and it's just this blurry blob of nothing in the envelope.
The current Street View for my house, my mother-in-law was visiting, and so there's 6 cars in the driveway, and one of them's parked in my front yard. I mean, it was a full house. It looks real bad. It's great
because it was the Omni for a while, sitting out front.
The Omni was up front for a while. I know a handful of Street Views where my work truck is. I'm set up splice and fiber. I've found myself on Street View a handful of times. So that's my favorite thing to do is find funny shit on Street View.
Yeah.
So. Let's talk about Gridlife, about festival.
So we went to Midwest Festival.
Yes. Robbie had a bad weekend.
Let's talk about my stuff real fast.
Robbie had a bad weekend.
It wasn't great.
Robbie lost one bet, won another bet, but didn't.
No,
he lost two
I lost
bets.
both bets. Yeah.
He lost 2 bets.
So I
don't think he's going to have to pay the consequences for either one of them.
No, it's not too late.
Okay.
The best thing about a slap bet is just holding it in your pocket for months, years,
Dalton feels the same way about slap bets that I do.
Yeah. So on the way to Gridlife, Dalton had a broken drive shaft.
So the
torque tube. I don't know.
So there's I don't really quite understand it either. Maybe
I think it's called the prop shaft.
Sure,
it's definitely a torque tube. Oh,
the torque tube is the whole thing.
This is a really funny word to me. Guibo?
Yeah.
Does the guibo spin? Or does the shaft spin inside the guibo?
Yeah, I think what breaks on those is the rubber bushings at each end of it.
Which makes sense.
That are just vibration isolators.
Right, but they don't spin,
I don't know if that's what's called the guibo.
Yes, that's the guibo. That doesn't spin, though, does it?
I think so.
Yeah. It's part of the drive shaft.
Yeah, it's part of the drive shaft. It's there's an input and then a big rubber mass thing and then the shaft and then another big rubber mass thing and then
so when you go to a single piece, it eliminates those.
So Dalton's got super fucked up at rev up.
Yes.
And he knew that, but he ordered a 1-piece version to get rid of all that stuff because he doesn't care about NVH.
Right.
For obvious reasons. And so, I mean, we should say it. We can't confirm that it broke at rev up so much as the problem revealed itself at rev up.
Right.
My guess is it may have had something to do with it being jumped in the air repeatedly, but Dalton would argue that statement, and has argued that statement.
It might have started there, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Jeremy from Dare to Dream Motorsports in Kansas City found a complete torque tube assembly and was bringing it to Dalton.
Yep.
So Dalton modified so like all of his shifter bracketry and all that jazz bolt to it.
Yeah.
And he welded all those brackets on there permanently, and he cut a bunch of holes in the floor to make the removal of the torque tube and stuff as easy and painless as possible. And then when Jeremy got to the racetrack, we pulled the drive shaft, the prop shaft, I guess, and the guibos out of the torque tube that Jeremy brought, put them in the torque tube that Dalton had modified, and then put it back in the car.
Yep. So he was there. Car's disassembled.
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever we rolled up at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, probably. It was
on four jack stands, and the entire rear drive line was out of it on the ground.
Yep. Transmission and all, because you have to remove the entire rear subframe and transmission out of the car to get the torque tube out. So it's not a simple process.
No.
At the racetrack.
That's the starting point for any basic maintenance on a C5 or C6.
I mean, that's fair.
Corvette, I believe. So.
That's fair.
Yeah. So when I found out that he was going to have to do all this at the track, I slap bet him that he wasn't going to actually do it.
And I commissioned.
Yep.
And I deemed that a successful win on Dalton's part was a timed flyer.
Yep.
Not a warm-up lap and a breakdown.
No, not a practice session.
But a timed flyer.
Yep. I wasn't even going to give you that. I was just going to say it gets it on track.
Nope, timed flyer. Fuck that, Robbie. Because if he wanted to, he could have gone out with the bad one he had and just putted around and came back in again and said, all right, I win the slap bet.
No.
But if we're going to do this, we're going to do this, Robbie. He has to complete a successful lap. And not like what he did at Mid-Ohio, where he did his warm-up lap and then blew his engine up in the first corner of his flyer. That wouldn't have counted either.
No, it wouldn't have.
That's not what we're here for.
So now I get to take credit for motivating him to actually getting it done.
I'm good with that.
That was my motivation there.
Yeah, he didn't want to get slapped.
But he didn't slap me yet.
No, because he's like me. He doesn't feel like slapping is a victory.
It is a victory.
It doesn't feel like it, though, Robbie.
All right, well, we'll see.
It's about asserting dominance.
Yeah, exactly. And he dominated me. Or will.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, so I lost that bet. And then I also had that bet with West Case that whoever finished, an average finish over the weekend, whoever's was higher would have to put their stickers on the other person's car. And that didn't work out for me, considering how I didn't even go out for race 4 and had nothing but problems. So, so a couple weeks before, I went to Topeka for a shakedown, because this is the first time I've had the car out.
A lot of the stuff on that car is new.
Yep. And we talked about that a while back. So went out, had the Bridgestone still on it at Topeka.
Oh, illegal, Robbie.
Car felt fucking great. I mean, I kind of put the suspension where I thought it would need to be, and did some minor tweaks to it over the weekend when I was just testing at that point. And it was like, car felt great. I mean, it had all sorts of grip, and then we get to Midwest Fest, and I feel like I'm on the next ins, and I feel like I'm on fucking ice. Like, just the track conditions are so much worse. I don't know. I went out, fought the car. Well, then, even at Topeka too, I was comfortably in the lead for my class, Production C. I was like, man, the car feels fucking awesome. Like, I'm putting awesome lap times in.
You were so far in the lead that somebody had decided you had to be illegal.
Yes. And so, which is funny, because looking back, the car was misfiring.
Probably.
It was. I know it was.
Oh, yeah.
So I convinced myself it wasn't, because it drove fine the whole time. But when it was at full throttle or at full operating temp, like track temp, then it would start to misfire.
Yeah. And that was on your full tune, right?
No, that was my detune.
Oh, that was
230 horsepower.
Okay.
So, where are they going? But yeah, so I went out and felt that the car was great.
Yeah.
And then went out for festival and first I'm fighting the car thinking like, with these tires, I got no grip. And granted, the track surface at Gingerman Raceway is not great.
There's a reason that most track records at Gingerman or a lot of them are pretty old, except for the new classes.
Yep.
Those are new because they're new classes.
Right.
And up until this weekend, most of the rest of the old classes were old records.
And they're going to stay there.
There's a reason of that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those cars have gotten faster.
Balls.
Yeah, it was like 90 degrees.
I was talking to Scott Robertson.
Yep.
And he's made a ton of improvements on his car in the last 2 years. And he said his PB there was 2 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes there for more than just Gridlife events.
Yeah, it's just a regular, like Honda meet and all sorts of stuff.
And so, and he's made a ton of improvements, more power, much better suspension, changed tire setups, stuff like that. Not to mention any driver improvement I'm sure he's had over those 2 years.
Yep.
And still not able to meet his PB because I think that track's just fallen off.
Yep.
Pure and simple.
Yep. So practice and qualifying and race 1, making changes. Felt like the car was getting a little better. Then in the race, it just like it felt like it just got worse and worse and worse. And then like I could catch people in the turns, and like as soon as we'd leave a turn, it's just wave goodbye.
We were watching,
just fucking
and I was
gone.
like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yep. Just get walked
Just
by everybody.
Destroyed.
Yep. So at that point, I was like, "Fuck it, I'm done." I'm like, there's something wrong. So brought it in, threw it on the dyno, and it had a chance to cool down quite a bit at that point. And so put it on the dyno, let it rip, 194.
On a 230 tune.
Should be 233, yes.
Made 194.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Switched to the hot tune.
Yeah.
And then that was supposed to be 252.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yep. So that came in at 230.
Yeah, right at where we were looking to be.
Yep. So said, fuck it, we'll go.
I thought that you somehow ended up with some whack tune and that you put it back on where you wanted it to be and you got the number you wanted.
No. I thought,
oh,
whatever. Like I thought maybe the car was, the dyno's being weird. Everyone else is matched.
There were a lot of people that were, there were a lot of people reading low on the dyno.
Yep. So
from Watkins Glen.
Yeah. So I was like, well, everyone's here matched to the dyno. So like a bunch of people did a bunch of tuning to add a bunch of power. So I was like, well, I'll add a bunch of power and go do what they're doing. Went out to the next session or race, same thing. Like just get fucking walked.
Yeah. It was better, but it wasn't
close.
Where it should be.
So at that point I was like, okay, I think my check engine light is telling me something legit this time. Because like
it's a race car. That check engine light is always there.
But it's not. So
oh really?
But that's just it. Like I would go on track and like I'd get up to like high RPMs and it kind of like flash at me and then go away, and it wouldn't stay. Like when I go to check with the code reader, it wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So then after I did race 3. Like after race 2,
you got through race 2.
Yep.
And we started troubleshooting.
Yep.
Maybe even race 1 and we started troubleshooting.
Because I did the dyno, and then I had Scott Robertson kind of take pity on me and help me with like grip as well, because like that I wasn't satisfied with the setup there either, and it wasn't too far off, but he's like, honestly, you got to kind of treat it like a wet race at this point, just because the grip is so shitty here.
Yeah.
So that made me feel a little better that my setup really wasn't like way off.
He gave you a few
terminology. Your terminology for whenever you talked to Scott was you had him talk you off the ledge.
Yes, I was fucking done, man. I didn't want to do any more racing anymore. The biggest thing was that I think my splitter, like you have 5 degrees of attack you can use, and I wasn't using any of it. In fact, I think I was probably positive. So adjusted that. That helped quite a bit. But yeah, this is like the suspensions and the alignment stuff was about where you'd want it. So that helped kind of make me feel like I wasn't completely botching this. But then after we did some diagnostic stuff, E-Man knew this guy, Joe Lala, from Dula Design Performance out of Dayton, Ohio. He's a tuner for like a bunch of the drift guys. He goes to like Drift Indy. So he introduced me to him, and he goes, see if you could take a look and point me like what I'm banging my head against this car and I can't come up with anything like this. So what's going on? So we did a super sketchy data log. So we just went out like I don't have a passenger
street
seat.
pulls.
Yeah, we did
Hell
street
yeah,
pulls.
bro.
So he just sat in the passenger seat, and I went and got
the passenger floor.
Yeah. So I went and grabbed
Got a roll cage. It's fine.
Yeah, I grabbed a sleeping bag, so he had something comfortable to sit on. Then we did a couple of pulls, and so he wasn't 100 because he can't see exactly what the other tuner did, but his best guess is that instead of like limiting throttle to get horsepower, they just pulled timing till they got the numbers they wanted. And so he goes, "Your timing numbers are what I would expect to see on a 700 horsepower turbo car." So he's guessing what's happening is when I get hot or high RPMs, there's not enough time for the fuel to actually burn. And he goes, I'm guessing your exhaust temps are like through the roof, which would make sense because my oil temps were through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
Highest they've ever been.
Trying to burn up a motor real hard.
Yep. So talked to him quite a bit in the last couple of weeks because I was listening to the podcast, which is, again, super weird. Yeah. So he had me get different spark plugs, different coil packs. He thinks that the reason they did the tuning the way they did it is that because I wanted to switch between maps, and just like if I needed more horsepower, I could just bump to map 4, because up rev you can have 5 maps,
right?
And he thinks that you can't manipulate throttle. You have to pull timing if you want to do it that way. And the tuner should have probably talked to me about that instead of just doing what I asked because I didn't know any better. So got a couple spare ECUs, and we're going 370Z injectors just to give it a little bit more. I
love how on the way there you were like, I'm trying to play it nice this season. I'm not doing as many events as I probably could.
Yeah.
If something really expensive happens this weekend, like
We're done.
Which basically at this point with your spares package is just a motor.
Yeah, for the most part.
And now you're sitting here being like, yeah, I bought a bunch of this, I bought a bunch of that, I'm fixing this, I'm fixing that. Robbie, you're a crazy man.
It's not that expensive. It's
I
fine.
fucking love you. Don't get me wrong. But Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's the car's all. Yeah, so I got all that stuff done. Now I just need to find time to have him tune it. So, yeah, but by the time we did that after race 3, we've learned all this about it. I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking going on track with it again.
So, Joe thinks that he can do your throttle limiting the way you want it to be done.
Yes,
but if you want different tunes, you'll have to change ECUs.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I mean, is that an involved process, or is that like pop, pop, pop?
Yeah, it's just plug in, plug out. It's
a couple screws and a big 30-pin connector or something like that?
Yep, that's all it is.
Okay.
So, yeah, not a big deal.
It's up top. It's easy to get to.
It's behind the dash a little bit, just kind of tucked up in there.
Your dash is a shell of a dash to begin with because it's a race car.
Yeah, it'd be no problem at all.
All right, cool.
It's in like the passenger side almost floor, right?
Yeah, basically like in front of where your feet would go is where I have mine mounted.
Yours is not in a factory position?
No, not exactly. I mean, it's
a little bit
roughly in the same spot,
right,
but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because mine, I found mine.
Yeah.
I found mine whenever I was pulling my airbag out a few weeks ago.
Yeah, the factory has it like mounted quite a ways up.
Kind of behind the glove box?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And mine's just kind of in the front.
If there was a glove box, there's not a glove box in there.
Oh, there isn't?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
Yep.
Center console, that's your glove box.
That's not annoying at all.
Super annoying.
Huh. Okay. Anyway, so
Nobody said a 350Z was a practical car.
Well, it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a sports car. So Joe thinks he's got you?
Yeah. Yeah. It should be no problem now.
That's awesome.
No, I do need to get another ECU. I have 2, and I want to have 3.
You have an electronic throttle body on that then, I assume?
Yep. So, because like we were kind of talking about it and like talking about the rules, and you could just see the gears turning. He's like, so there's like no rules on like torque or anything? And I was like, no. It's like, oh, so and you could just like, we could do this, we could do that. And I was like, yes, I like where this is going already.
So can you like get on a local dyno and
We're gonna kind of talk about how we want to do it, because like we're not gonna it's not gonna add power, so we know basically what the max is. So like he has a Mustang dyno, so if we go there and do it on the Mustang and just tune it, and then just get the numbers on the Gridlife dyno.
There is a long ways away.
Dayton, Ohio. Yeah, it's only 9 hours.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you could like get on the one at Skunk or the one at Off the Line, and
Potentially, yeah.
Could phone in, if you will.
Yep.
I'm
totally content driving
use
to
Teen Viewer.
Teen Viewer.
I mean,
I'm content driving to Dayton.
Oh, okay.
Then just
If that's
let him do his thing in the car.
the mad scientist.
Yeah. Well, I know that like when I tuned it in Kansas City, they had to pull a bunch of like fuses and relays and shit out of the body control module area because it wanted like to put the flash on. It wanted there to be things that weren't there, so it wouldn't flash.
Oh,
so I'm afraid that if we're 9 hours apart and I'm trying to diagnose what fuses to pull out, it's going to be a bigger hassle than if I just drive it there and we just take care of it. So
cars are dumb, Robbie.
This is a stupid hobby. I couldn't agree more.
I've learned that all hobbies are stupid.
Yeah.
And not like varying degrees of stupid.
No,
they're all the exact same amount of stupid.
Yeah.
It's just that some of them are more upfront about it than others. And I can appreciate that about cars, at least.
Yeah. We know it's stupid.
Yeah.
And
It's
expensive.
way more upfront about it. Like fishing nickel and dimes you, but it's still stupid.
Very.
So
I think the cool thing from that experience was like coming away with it with an idea of what was going on and not like having to drive 8 hours back home just going like, what the hell? Like, why is it doing what it's doing? And having that hanging over you, like being able to find out right then, like, okay, we've got an idea. We've got a plan. And
that's a thing that only happens at Gridlife too.
Oh, for sure.
Like I get that he goes to a lot of events, but the chances are that you guys would have crossed paths at a TT event.
Impossible.
Next to none.
Yep.
You know, like
the track event that has like 100 drift cars and
Right.
100
And
time attack cars and
he's not even
60 GLTC cars.
He's not even the only guy there who probably could have helped you. Like there's a dozen tuners there.
Yep.
So
Yeah, he just happens to be like a Z guy, so
Right,
he knows uprev.
right, and you know it helped that E-Man knew him and stuff
Yep.
like that. But like, there's just so much knowledge there that you don't find at a normal event.
I really appreciated the fact that he's like walking me through it.
Yeah, he seems to have been really cool about
like
it.
literally
which is
doing
awesome.
a total knowledge dump of like what he's seeing, why potentially it's doing that, what he would do,
Well,
and a plan to like fix all this.
from the outside looking in, it seems like this is an interesting mind game for him too. Like this is a new opportunity to learn a new skill inside of what he's already doing. Mm-hmm. And so that's anybody who's worth a damn at their job is going to want that opportunity to expand their abilities. And I think that, you know,
Yeah.
that's cool.
No,
And he's looking at a GLTC field that has three or
60
four
cars.
And it's got 3 or 4 VQ powered cars in it at any given time now. So
Yeah.
that's a market.
oh yeah, for
And
sure.
there's a lot of VQ and time attack
And-
too. I mean, there's a decent number of them in time attack, and
Well, and there's a good amount of cars that are running all over and other series that are running power to weight. So that's a skill set
Yeah.
that it benefits you to have. So,
yeah.
No, it was cool because he's calling me and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm working on this Mark IV Supra for the owner of Forge Line, so it's got to be ready for this race." And it's just like, then I got to be at Formula Drift in New Jersey. So then, but that we'll fit you in. I was like, me, just me,
Just little
like
old
little
me.
old me. You have time for me? I am flattered, sir.
Yeah, it's super cool of him. Very, very cool.
So
Let's
yeah.
be real. That's the power of a successful podcast right there.
Yeah, that's what that is.
You know what's great about podcasts that YouTube doesn't have going for it? Nobody knows whether we're successful or not. They're like, damn, they've got over 300 episodes. They must be successful.
They've been doing this a long
No,
time.
we could have 5 people listening to this. They don't know. 'Cause there's no
5
metric.
million people. That's right.
But the fact that he did seem to take an interest and had a plan, it was just like, yeah, I will happily drive out of my way.
Yeah, like I said, it seems to me like this is an interesting challenge for him.
Yep. So Yeah, honestly, that's like my whole weekend when it comes to like on track stuff because it was
So
high hopes and just kind of crash and burn.
you got to get a sticker.
Nah, he quit racing, so I don't have to get a sticker.
Wes quit racing, so you kind of won.
Yeah, he just quit. So
I think you won.
I guess, yeah.
I got to put 2 Wes Was Here stickers on a car, and I didn't tell Wes what I was doing with them. I walked over to Wes, and I was talking to him for a little bit. And then before I left, I'm like, hey, man, you got any of those Wes Was Here stickers? Oh, yeah, let me grab you a couple. Sweet, can I get 2 of them? Yeah, sure, no problem. And then I took those, and I walked straight over to the Cayman that Eric Streeter's been prepping. And I said, here you go, man. Because he's got a donut on each side of that car from Wes. I said, here you go. And he immediately slapped him on the car. There's one on each side right on the donut.
And then literally the next race, that car ended up in the...
Is that the new 10 Tenths podcast? Curse?
10 tenths per... Yeah, I don't know, because he ended up in the gravel pit at turn 10.
Yeah.
He slammed into that
straight
BMW.
off.
Yeah.
Real deep.
That was not good. So
Yeah. Race 3 and 4 finished under yellow, I think.
Yeah, 4 was
3
ugly, too.
and 4.
3 is always ugly. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, 3 is ugly.
It's like, statistically speaking, like if there's going to be something just like gross and awful, it's race 3.
Yeah,
I don't know
because that's... Well, I mean,
even
that's probably where the weekend is made or is make or break the most.
Yep. That
The weekend points championship is make or break the most in race 3. By race 4, you know where you're at.
Yeah, for sure.
Race 1 and 2, you're figuring it out. Race 3, if this doesn't go well, I'm screwed. If this goes well, I can do okay.
Yep.
That's when things go downhill.
Yeah. It just
Even
seems
if
that
it's
people,
subconsciously.
Yeah, it just seems that people make mistakes or push it, and
Right.
it just. I mean, that was one nice thing that I walked away from the weekend, and there wasn't I didn't get a scratch on the car. I had nothing but clean racing.
Well, when you're out there behind yourself or by yourself, just misfiring down the back straightaway, 30 horsepower down, you don't have to hit anybody.
It was 36 horsepower. Oh man, yeah, it was. I mean, I still beat some people, but yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
Still
there was
my
a
favorite car, sad face.
There was a handful of people I was racing against, but yeah, way in the back,
Yeah, you definitely weren't where you've been in the past.
or where I expected to be.
Right. Which sucks because, like, I think not only in your head but on the show, you've built up like this like excitement level.
Yeah, I was
So,
excited.
like, this car is going to be better.
No,
And I'm really excited to see how mediocre I am still.
yeah, for sure.
Because let's be real.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not an alien.
No.
But, and everybody else probably got better too.
Oh yeah.
That's what's frustrating about GLTC. It's like you made big leaps and bounds, and so did everybody
So-
else.
Fucking unbelievable.
But
Oh well.
is what it is.
Yeah.
So
See if I can get it fixed for Road America.
yeah. So let's see. What do we want to talk about with Dusty then?
So
Where do we start with Dusty?
Dusty and I were messaging back and forth because he was trying to figure out how to get to Midwest Festival. Like he knew based on the podcast,
This needs to happen.
this has to be.
This is at this point. This is a bucket list event for just about anybody who's heard of it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been listening since 2016, and I guess the first year you guys went was 2017.
No, we went our first year.
Yeah, it was 16.
2016. Okay, so I've been hearing about it every year the whole time, and then over the past 5 years now, I've gotten to know you guys.
Yep, and the
And
people.
then,
in
now
it.
it's every year I hear the stories, and I know all of the names and the faces of all of the crazy stories. So yeah,
Yep.
Last year I kind of toyed with the idea and ended up going to either do Mid Ohio and then ended up doing WRL. And
That worked
this year
out.
It was like, okay,
He saved your life.
Yeah.
Let's get it out in the open. Let's talk about it
I
real
could have
quick
died.
because this is what we do.
I could have burned to death and he saved me.
And E-Man almost died on the scooter. Okay, we've talked about it. Let's move on.
So anyway, yeah, last year I told myself, no, I'm going to figure it out if I just have to drive the 17 hours or what it takes to get up there, I'm doing it. So flying to Chicago and renting a car was my original plan, and that was going to cost like $1,000. And I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's a lot.
I tried like every combination of things I could think of to do it for like $500 or less was kind of my thinking on it. And then figured out that it's really cheap to fly to Iowa for some reason.
Hell yeah, bro.
So I'm looking at tickets one morning, and it was like a week and a half out. Like, it wasn't long.
No, it was more than that, but it was cutting it a little close. But yeah, it wasn't a week out.
Yeah, it was close.
It was 2.5 for sure.
Well, I'd already talked to Robbie. I was like, okay, I'm just going to drive up there. It's like 10 hours. I'm just going to drive to Iowa, and then I'll ride with you guys.
Yeah.
And get a live 10 Tenths podcast all the way there.
In my opinion, you were not procrastinating.
No.
That doesn't mean...
By my standards, you were well ahead of the curve.
Well, so I knew like either way, I was just going to drive it. I was going to suck it up and drive it, and just
Dallas to here is not that hard because it's just
like
35
shot,
the whole way. Just go.
But I was just thinking the further we got into it, the more I was thinking about having to do the Topeka drive from last year and then another 3.5 hours. And I was just,
it's more than that.
And then you got to go all the way back.
Going home and then sucked.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. So going and then riding that full day ride back home to Iowa and then another full day ride home. It was just like, it's such a waste of time. And I just opened up American and typed in Des Moines. It was $380. And I'm like, I messaged Robbie. I was like, are you up for picking me up at the airport and then taking me back at the butt crack of before the butt crack of dawn on Monday morning? He was like, yeah, let's do it.
Of course. It's by the time I get up anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we, flew in Wednesday afternoon.
Picked him up in the, old reliable Ford Focus.
Reliable.
Yeah. Hey, Dusty, what color is that Ford
Jesus
Focus?
Fucking Christ.
That car is green as hell.
Green.
It's not green.
It's green. Oh, are you crazy?
That is green, Robbie. Your mug there, that's green as hell.
Yeah, just like the Ford Focus.
No. It's a terrible shade of green if that's green.
It is green.
It's not green.
Dusty, come on, man.
So we left the airport and then we go to Walmart and we get out of the car at Walmart and I looked at him and I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't he try to deny that this car was green?
That's not green.
Bro, that is so green.
No, that other Ford Focus is green.
That's because that's like a hunter green, but this is like...
It's a real shitty shade of green. It's a lot of gray in that green.
I didn't say it was a good green, but it is green.
There's a lot of gray in that green.
That's still green.
It's a lot of gray.
That's not gray.
It's more gray than green, in my opinion.
Man.
The paint and the seats are not that radically different in color.
They
And
are.
that's a gray interior.
It's a gray interior, but that is radically different.
They're not that different.
Yeah, so
that's closer to gray than it is to British Racing Green.
I never said it was British Racing Green.
I'm just saying that's
green.
not a very green.
This is a shade of green.
It's barely green.
It's more green than it is gray.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You're
yes,
crazy.
it is.
You're just arguing to be arguing.
No, I'm not.
You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I didn't buy it. It's never been in my name. It wasn't my car. It doesn't matter.
It's my car, and it's green.
It can be whatever color you want it to be, right? It's tan. Let's be real here, Robbie. It's tan.
Anyways,
I mean, if you washed it, it'd be a different color. But right now,
that's not true.
It's tan.
It's clean right now.
Ish.
It's clean enough.
Did you wash it yesterday?
No.
Did
it rained not too long ago. It rained not too long ago. It's still dusty, but it's not bad.
That's fair.
I haven't washed it since before Dusty was in it.
Okay. Whatever. It's fine.
Yeah, so we picked him up and went straight from the airport to Walmart because we needed all sorts of stuff.
Did you take him to the West Des Moines Walmart?
Yeah, of course. I wasn't going to go to the East Des Moines one.
You didn't even give him a good experience?
I gave him a better experience.
No, that's a boring one.
We went to West Des
You
Moines.
couldn't be more white if you wanted to be at that place. Like, that's not even fun. You should have taken him to Southside.
No.
You should have taken him to the one off, like, what is that,
Actually, I could have, because the plan was to get Tasty Tacos.
See?
And that's over there, too.
You could have taken him to the one off 14th. That'd have been a time.
No, we went to West Des Moines so I could get Tasty Tacos after getting all of our
I suppose
supplies.
there is a Tasty Tacos right there, isn't
Yep,
there?
across the parking lot.
You couldn't be a more, like, white America suburb if you wanted to be than West Des Moines.
You're not wrong.
You didn't even give him, like,
So-
a fun Iowa experience.
We drove through all sorts of cornfields to
Should
get
have
there.
taken him to a Dollar General.
They have those there.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I have Dollar General right down the road.
they're especially strange in Iowa.
No,
Small
they're,
town Dollar General.
they're equally strange in
They're-
Florida. They're all the
yeah.
same.
Small town
They're-
ones are weird.
The weird one is the one that's by my work that is in what used to be a Family Video. That one's weird.
There's one downtown that's called Dollar General Express,
What?
and it's just like a really
just
tiny
like a-
Dollar General. But I'm fairly certain they have the same inventory as a regular Dollar General. Shit's wild, dude.
Weird. But anyways, yeah, I picked him up at the airport, went to Walmart in West Des Moines.
Got some tasty tacos.
Got some Tasty Tacos.
I feel like, so I get the tasty tacos is good. Like, even I don't dislike tasty tacos. And most people who listen to the show know how I feel about Mexican food.
Yes.
I got a burger at Acapulco Joe's, for God's sakes.
We'll never let you forget that.
Anyway, tasty tacos is good tacos, but, like, again, that's not an Iowa experience, Robbie.
Tasty Tacos can only be purchased in Iowa.
I know, but, like,
In Des Moines.
I know
There's only one
but
or two. Three. Just
I don't know
there's
where-
three.
I don't know where you would go, except maybe Bebop's, I guess. I don't know where you would go to
Zombie
like, give
burger.
him I hate Zombie Burger.
You are a crazy person.
It's not that good, and it's too expensive.
The only other one would be like,
It's kind of like Five Guys.
no.
It's fine every once in a while, but
I don't know.
It's really kind of too expensive.
No.
Yeah,
it's
it is.
it's a punch in the mouth of flavor, and it's awesome.
It's too expensive.
It's worth every penny.
It's not.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
Just like Five Guys really isn't.
It isn't.
I pay it, Robbie. Don't get me
Five
wrong.
Guys isn't worth
but
it.
it's not really worth it.
It's not worth it.
Neither is Zombie.
It is.
It's really not.
I don't. You would be offended how often I go to the one at the mall. I just walk in, get a burger, and leave. I go to the mall like 3 times as often, but don't go to any fucking stores. I just go to the Zombie Burger in the mall.
It was nice of them to place that real close to the exit.
Yep. I walk in, get my burger, and leave.
Because, frankly, that is the highlight of Jordan Craig Mall.
Their food court, or
Yeah.
just
Zombie Burger specifically, but the food court, yes.
yeah.
So
But they're almost like McDonald's for how often their shake machine's broken.
it's because it's really hard to clean, apparently.
I don't care. I want my zombie cake ride, whatever shake.
I've never had one.
It's probably like a pound of sugar, but it's so good.
So, anyway, I just don't know where you would take him for like an Iowa food experience. It's not like a
Like-
sit-down restaurant.
I could take him to like Jethro's Barbecue, but he has barbecue in Texas.
That's better.
right.
So
Jethro's is
I do have
great
to
for
say,
Iowa, but it's not that good at barbecue.
I do have to say, whenever he said, "You up for tacos?" I was like, "I'm from Texas.
So, no. Because
And I'm
your
in
tacos are
Iowa?
going to suck.
Sure, this will be fun."
You were expecting to make fun of him for terrible tacos.
I mean, I wasn't going to be like snooty about it.
Yes,
but
he was.
He
they
was
were-
fully prepared to be, though.
So the Tasty Taco is, we have a chain down here called Taco Bueno, and it's basically Taco Bueno has, they call it a muchacho, that is like the flatbread, beans, meat, cheese, lettuce, everything. And like, it's basically the muchacho is what I get when I go to Taco Bueno. So whenever I opened up the paper, I was like, "Ooh, I know this. Okay, cool."
It's good stuff.
It is
Even
good.
I like tasty tacos.
That's good. And at that point too, it was like I didn't know what else to get us besides like change shit. And I didn't want to do that.
I don't know where you can't really go and get an authentic Iowa meal without sitting down.
Because everyone's gonna be like, "You gotta go to the machine shed."
I fucking love the machine.
I don't like
shed,
the machine.
Robbie.
I don't like the machine shed.
Fucking done. I can't even take this anymore.
There's a list of restaurants that I want to go to before the machine shed, and it's long. That list is long, Adam.
Dude, their bacon wrapped pork tenderloins, or not tenderloins. What are they called? Medallions. That's what they call them.
Oh, that'd be.
I would eat that for my last meal before getting electrocuted. I swear to God.
All right, I will need to try that then.
Oh, dude. It's the best.
Dude, it's like a barn.
Yeah. I was going to say, I probably should have just brought you there.
I
There's a
love
tractor
that
out front.
place.
There is a tractor
Last
out
time
front.
we went there, they were giving hay bale rides.
That was
part of
I'm
the-
gonna have to.
That
I'm gonna
was
have to come back
free
next year
hay
now.
bale rides. That was
And
just part of it.
And the menu is huge. It's almost like
dude,
it's
it's so
almost like
ridiculous.
Cheesecake Factory, whereas there's that big of a menu.
I learned that they don't sell they have a lunch and a dinner menu.
Yep.
And the lunch menu does not have the bacon wrapped pork medallions on it.
Oh.
And I was like childishly upset about it. Like throw a temper tantrum. Mad the whole
Just like,
yeah. I'll eat this, but I am not going to enjoy it. Yeah.
how's your dinner, Adam? It's fine.
It's basically a Cracker Barrel. Like,
Yeah.
in all reality, it's a Cracker Barrel, but it's a better Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
really all it is.
That's not that hard.
No, it's not. You're not wrong. But that's really what I mean. If I had to compare it to a place that people know,
It's a Cracker Barrel.
it's a Cracker Barrel. It even has the like gift shop thingy in the front when you walk in.
It's all farm stuff.
with the weird candies and the strange gourmet sodas and
You buy old timey hardwood board games,
Yes.
and stuff like that.
yeah, yep. It's just a little
Nice.
bit better tasting Cracker Barrel, but I do so very much adore those pork medallions.
All right, I'll need to try those then next time.
Let's go there tomorrow, Robbie.
All right, I'm down.
So, anyway, so we got you. We went to Gridlife. We went to a Casey's. They didn't have fucking breakfast pizza.
When I dropped him off at the airport to go back to Texas, the Casey's right by the airport was closed.
Yeah,
By the time I dropped him off and then came back, it was open.
yeah,
Son of a bitch.
yeah. So he didn't even get breakfast pizza.
I
which is
wanted
upsetting.
him to have breakfast pizza before he got on the plane.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just interject things from my if I can make it work.
Your list of Tommyisms.
We'll get there.
Yeah, my list of random phrases from the trip. I'm just gonna interject them as they seem relevant. So
no.
we discussed joining the Casey's Mile High Club.
Oh, yeah. Because
So that's where you eat Casey's on the way to the airport, and then it hits your backside while you're 5,000 feet or above.
I don't.
you destroy an
that
airport
is-
bathroom.
That is a vicious rumor that was started by Adam Jabay and is not valid.
It's just his weak stomach that can't handle our delicious
it's not
pizzas.
my fault that he can't handle the amazingness that is Casey's breakfast pizza.
But I would worry about Dusty's stomach at 35,000 feet.
Nah, he's from Texas.
That's fair.
But that,
Nothing.
it's got that
If the only place that fries stuff more than Texas is the Iowa State Fair.
it's the pressurization in the airplane. That's what you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so he came here. We had tacos. I went to Walmart.
We went to bed at like 9:15 because
Yeah.
we were getting up at 3:30.
Yep. And you were actually ready on time this
I
year,
was,
Adam.
and I was. What was it? The only thing that I had to buy that I had to stimulate the economy for at the Walmart when we got there was allergy meds.
Oh, when we went to Walmart, I spent $120 on like food and
No,
ice.
I mean in South Haven.
Oh,
Because normally I'm notorious for like a long list of things I didn't bring.
yep.
I brought everything except allergy meds. That was the only thing I didn't bring with me.
Dang. You did do good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised at the amount of stuff that you unloaded out of that truck into the trailer and Robbie's truck.
Because when you
I've heard stories. I was expecting a Lightning McQueen backpack that was half full.
when you jumped out with that first like small amount of things, I was like, that's all he brought.
I put them in the back. I put them in the back of my truck because there was so many of them. So I put them all in the back. So
You were you were
I was
properly
fully
prepared.
I had a sleeping bag. I had a pillow.
You had a
Had a
cooler.
I had a pillow. I had a cooler. I had my suitcase. I even brought my helmet. Didn't use it, but I brought
You
it.
brought it, yeah.
I only needed allergy meds.
It happens.
Honestly, I'm a little disappointed in myself for the whole thing.
No, you did well.
But it's not on brand, Robbie.
I know. Next time. There will be more chances.
And it certainly wasn't from a lack of trying not to bring anything, because I definitely worked until like 9 o'clock the night before and hadn't even started packing yet. So it's fine.
Yeah. I only needed like 2 things at Walmart, and I walked out with like $100 worth of stuff and all the food I could ever ask
That's
for.
how that goes.
So I wasn't mad about it,
Yeah.
but I definitely had more food than I expected, what
Yeah.
I normally bring.
Yeah.
I left at least $35 to $40 worth of food at your house.
Yeah, I've been snacking on that the last couple of weeks.
I hate flying into Gridlife events. I did that at Alpine last year, and I hate it because you can't bring like any of your sleeping stuff
Yep.
or anything like that. I didn't enjoy it.
That was part of why I wanted to just drive up there, because I was trying to figure out how to bring all of the camera crap that I wanted, plus as much stuff as I could to survive in what is essentially primitive camping.
Yes. Yeah.
But fortunately, Robbie had like the entire workbench on the front of the trailer was just bedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had more.
Pick and choose which one I needed per night.
I had multiple sleeping bags, multiple like comforters, multiple pillows. So
Yeah.
I think we had some we didn't even use.
Probably.
Plus, it was hotter than shit.
It was hotter than shit.
Well, it wasn't uncomfortable at night though.
It got cool enough, yeah. But it was definitely, I think, the hottest Midwest Fest that I've ever been to.
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't have like any data on my from
Your phone overheated.
my phone
every
overheated
time?
overheated before I even got on track.
Yeah.
Freaking crazy. I've never had that before.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so Alex that was doing the filming with Jeremy Swinson, I talked to him a little bit. He was shooting with Panasonic GH5 cameras inside his car. He said, I've done all kinds of things with these cameras and never had heat issues with them. And the one that was pointing forward overheated before the race even started.
oh no.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
And he was like, so we're going to try like pointing one of the ducts that pulls in air at it. We're going to like keep a towel over it until right before the race starts. He was like just game planning all of the different things he was going to try to do to make it live.
He needs to plummet into the cool suit system.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that, and I got that nice fancy Sentinel live streaming setup. Yeah, that doesn't work when it doesn't connect to a freaking
I basically
network.
had no cell service the whole weekend.
I couldn't even get messages on like the Facebook Messenger, let alone trying to live stream anything.
No, it wasn't a thing. Even like in years past, it starts to get bad on Friday and didn't work on Saturday. But this year, it didn't work Thursday.
Yeah,
already.
Completely worthless.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I was looking around trying to send text messages, not iMessages, text messages on Thursday, and I was like, "There's no one here yet. It's just racers. Like, this is not a good sign."
There were a lot of people there on Thursday already.
Yeah, it's
GA camping was like a solid 1/3 to half full already by day's end Thursday.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Because in years past, that was not how it was.
No, they'd all show up on Friday at the earliest.
Yeah, it was definitely. I mean, I think that's confirmed, but it was definitely. It looked like the biggest year ever, and I feel like they had the most camping they've ever had.
They did a lot better job organizing it, I'd say.
Oh, for
because
sure.
you could have fit quite a bit more people in there, like campsites and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely the most I've seen
Yeah, it was
a lot of
closest
people
to being completely just full.
at capacity.
So, but anyway, so we get there Thursday. We did the Walmart thing to get in there.
Yep.
That went pretty well.
Yeah, I thought
we
it was
got
smooth.
parked.
Yep.
We were between the Stacker and E-Man,
Yep.
which wasn't a bad place to be.
That's usually where I end up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, we weren't. Well, I mean, it didn't really matter this year because we didn't get on top of the Stacker, but we weren't in a position where we could guarantee no one was going to pee on your trailer.
No, I always park next to the stackers though.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
No one peed on top of the trailer this year.
We didn't even get on top of the Stacker this year.
No.
We were too busy with all the other shenanigans. By the time we got there, Tommy was already there, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And they were set up shop.
Yeah, the hot tub was inflated and he was filling it bucket by bucket.
So this year we didn't fill it as the same as we've done in years past. In years past, we've filled it by putting a tarp in Joe Johnson's. I'm calling him Joe Johnson, so
good
just
enough.
deal with it. In the back of his Toyota Tacoma, whatever
Tacoma,
it is.
probably.
And then, Tacoma. And then, like, driving it over there and trying to dump it into the hot tub, which actually works way better than I thought it would.
Way better than it should.
Almost disappointingly so. But this year, Tommy brought some, like, 25-gallon jugs, and he would just drive them back and forth and fill them up and then dump them into the hot tub.
While wearing like a construction worker vest.
Yes,
so you
an
knew that
orange
he
safety
was,
vest.
Yeah, no one's going to question it because he's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody questions somebody in an orange safety vest. These are facts. I get away with a lot of things I probably shouldn't wearing construction uniform colors. So.
Yep. So he had the hot tub going, or
Yep.
started, and then had set up the slushy machines, and he had 6 slushy machines.
6 or 5?
Oh,
Five slushy
5.
machines.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be 6 because one didn't work, and then the one solo one wouldn't work when it felt like it. So we had 4 that we could count on.
Yeah. Basically, we just had 4, which was plenty.
Yeah,
Don't
it was
get me
awesome.
wrong. But, the slushies came in clutch because it was so hot.
Oh man, yeah, because like we had 2. It was just blue caffeine is what they called it. And then there was
It was that blue Mio, caffeinated Mio, was
Oh.
what he was using.
is that all it was?
Yeah.
And then there was an orange one, and then he had some with booze in it. Which,
Only the first night did we put booze in it.
yeah, the second night we didn't do that. And then, yeah, so it was hot, so I kept drinking them. And then when I went to bed,
turns out they have
Thursday
a lot
night.
of sugar in them.
he went through like 27 pounds of sugar. Or
I'm
something.
trying to find it.
Or some stupid number.
I'm trying to find it. He's got stats. He sent them to me because apparently I needed to know them.
It's important.
So
But yeah,
I'll
so
find 'em
my
eventually.
stomach was, I had gut rot so bad when I tried to go to bed Thursday night, and I didn't even drink that much of it on Thursday.
See, I just don't. I guess I don't have these problems.
That's 'cause you drink that-
It doesn't bother me.
That's because
Yeah,
you drink that garbage
soda
all day, every day.
long.
I don't drink as much as you think I do
That's because you had already had 2
Anymore.
Rooster Boosters.
anymore.
Yeah,
I definitely have backed down on the amount of what I compared to what I used to drink. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think Friday night was the night that I laid down, and my stomach, like the second I laid down, my stomach just went, and I was like, oh man, that was a lot of slushy that I drank tonight. Yeah,
Yeah, it was worth it.
yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I was thoroughly impressed when he goes, you know what, we should see if we can get Nos in here, and he goes up to the Nos booth. and he wasn't going to take no for an answer, so he convinces the people that are at the big Nos, I don't know, booth or whatever you want to call it, and he gets an entire case of Nos and turns that into a slushie, and that was delicious.
it was so good.
I drank way more than I should have, and especially with that much caffeine. But oh my god, it was good.
He sent afterward because he also talked to Haltech at length,
Yep.
and they like. I think there's a very real possibility that that might be Tommy Slizzies and Glizzies presented by Haltech at
Mid-Ohio.
At Mid-Ohio.
Those-
So first of all, everyone knows Glizzies is a term for hot dog. Apparently,
Yep.
it's my new favorite word because Katie fucking hates it. And so then we decided slushies
Or Slizzies.
Slizzies, so that it goes together. Slizzies and Glizzies because
Oh.
Tommy had a hot dog roller.
Yes, and a chili and cheese dispenser like you would get at a gas station. So that we had slushies or Slizzies and hot Glizzies any time of the day. I had way
It
too
was
many hot
basically
dogs.
the back corner of a 7-Eleven
With a hot tub.
With a hot
trailer with a sign that said "free tips appreciated"
Well, so
Yeah,
we
tips, that's what it said.
until
we crossed it off and said tits appreciated.
Which didn't help us at all.
But we do appreciate them.
Yeah, we appreciate them, but we didn't get to see any.
Nah,
So.
happens. But I appreciate them anyways. And then he brought out the cheapest tequila you could buy.
Montezuma.
Yeah,
Here it is. I found it finally. You ready for this?
I want to hear these stats.
You ready for this? Tips. First of all, this is a a not small number, he did not break even.
I figured he wouldn't.
$539.50.
That's awesome.
And 200 pesos, which I think is only like $4. Approximately 225 glizzies.
No way.
So people started bringing packages of hot dogs that they had in their camping areas that they weren't going to finish by the end of the weekend and giving them to Tommy.
Okay.
So that's an approximation based on what he bought and what he remembers receiving from others.
Okay.
200.
There did seem to be a lot of hot dogs.
225 hot dogs consumed throughout the weekend.
We need to adjust the total. 200 pesos is $11.71 currently.
Oh, man, that's a lot more money than I thought it was. That's what I told him. Just hang on to it until the exchange rate is more favorable, then turn it in.
Exactly.
Approximately. Jesus.
Or just go ahead and convert it to gold and be done.
85 gallons of Slizzy drink, which is water and sugar mixed together 50 gallons at a time.
Yep.
Or was it 25 gallons at a time? So what he told us when we went to buy more sugar is that he wanted 25-pound bags, but if they didn't have 25-pound bags, to buy them in whatever quantities they had as long as it was divisible by 5 or in increments of 5 pounds.
Yes.
That was the rule. So that he could math out how many gallons per 5 pounds.
Wait, was he using the same jug that he filled up the hot tub with to do?
No, he had a separate area, a separate thing that he kept what he called Slizzy water.
Okay.
Which was just pre-mixed sugar and water that he would pour into the slushy machines and then add the flavoring.
Okay.
He had a system.
I didn't never see the whole operation.
And then so the blue energy, as we called it, or blue caffeine.
Blue caffeine.
That was the Mio, the caffeinated blue Mio. And then I'm not sure what all of the other ones were, but one of the orange ones was Gatorade mix.
Yep.
But he used less sugar in that one.
That makes sense.
So that it wasn't too
because
sweet.
Gatorade's like half sugar anyway. So.
Yeah, right.
The only thing I was disappointed about was that the first night lemonade had booze in it. So the next night he made sure Saturday night he made sure to have lemonade without booze in it, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, the lemonade one was my jam.
Yeah, I had a lot of those. A lot of lemonade. I drank a lot of the orange, and then way too much of the purple nos. How many liters of tequila, Adam?
I don't know that he ever gave me the booze totals.
I thought you said like 20 something.
It was 22 liters, and that was before the weekend was over.
So total amounts, he had $200 in Slizzies, $100 in Glizzies, $40 in chili and cheese.
Oh, that's too much.
And then he easily burned 8 to 10 gallons of gas a day, which means he spent probably about $150 just in gas for the generators.
That makes sense, yeah.
Not to mention $300 in booze.
Yep.
And about $100 worth of cups.
Oh, yeah, because we had to go get a bunch more cups.
He thinks we went through about 1,000 cups, which was about $100.
Yes, that sounds right.
So he says, short of actually checking my credit card statements, we'll just round some stuff and call it about $1,000 all in. What's funny to me is that like Tommy is the cheapest motherfucker on the planet, except when it comes to Tommy wanting to throw down a fucking party.
Having a party.
Then if he's throwing the party, no expenses spared.
I can see that, yeah.
But it's still done in Tommy style. So like all the things that he bought, the hot tub and the slushy machines and the glizzy roller that had to have been pushing 40 years of age.
Yeah. It came out of a gas station.
That freestanding slushy machine deserves to be on the National Register of Historic Places. Like that thing was vintage.
There's a reason it doesn't work. But anyway, like all that stuff was bought for as little amount of money as he could possibly put into it.
Yep.
On Facebook Marketplace. And then like the booze is the cheapest he can buy.
Yeah, like
but he'll buy
$3 a liter.
Huge quantities and just throw the wildest part. And like Not a person walked by our pit stall and wasn't invited to get a Slizzy and a Glizzy.
Right. My favorite was that it said free slushies. And then not 100 feet down the way, there is a food, or fair quote, food truck selling slushies for $6.
$6 a piece. And we're giving them away. Tits appreciated. That's it.
Well, the funny thing was because we had the booth sitting out, so we kind of kept an eye on it to make sure kids weren't, like, underage people weren't.
We did have to, a
Hey.
couple of kids.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You can
there
have
were
a
a couple
slushie.
of kids that thought they were being sneaky, and we caught them, and they were really uncomfortable by
Yep.
it. And then there was one who was like, really? And we're like, yeah.
We're not getting fucking in trouble for
Yeah,
that.
really? Get out of here, dude.
You can have a slushie. No booze. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. No, dude. That's not how we're playing. We're in our 30s. We're not playing that game, okay? We're old fuddy-duddies.
Yep.
We look like we're having fun, but get off our lawn.
Yep. My favorite was when one of the kids did that, and we couldn't agree if he was 21 or not. He actually was 25, but like he looked super young.
Yeah, he did.
And none of us could agree. And Tommy's doing like the thumbs up, thumbs down, like on Gladiator. And when he finally showed his ID, and he's like, "Thumbs up, yeah!" Oh
So
god,
that led to one of my favorite quotes of the weekend as
good.
Tommy is explaining what age people need to be able to partake in the booze with the Slizzies.
Oh, I
I
forgot
don't
about
remember
this.
what the context of it was.
Well,
but
because
he
we
looked at-
decided the problem is that we were asking for tits.
so you could be 18
But
in the
you could
hot
be
tub, but
18
you can
to
only
be
you can
in
be
the
20.
hot tub, but you had
so
to
then-
be 21
so
to
then
drink, and that
Tommy
was.
Tommy says, "Robbie, I'm not going to make you remember two numbers here. We're just going to go with 21."
So we decided you had to be at least 21 to also get in the hot tub.
Yep, it was an adults only party. I'm not gonna make you remember two numbers. Oh hell.
Yeah. So
So related to that, whenever it came time to go get cups at one point, or I think there was just a general supply run needed,
Yep.
and
There's more
the
than one of those,
Festiva
yep.
was discussed as an opportunity to take into Walmart.
yeah, it was.
So we're discussing who all's going to go in the Festiva, and Tommy says, "It's got 4 seats, but if more than 2 of you go, we're going to have to roll the fenders."
So we did. Because anyway, wait, even if 2 of you go, if you put too many groceries in there, it's still going to
You
run.
rolled, but yeah.
And he came prepared to roll the fenders.
Why hadn't he done it before?
No,
Just ran out of time.
because he's Tommy.
Fair
Too
enough.
busy getting slushy machines working.
Yeah,
He's an American hero, man. He's busy saving lives and putting out fires.
yeah, he is. Just like Dusty.
God damn it.
So you're probably wondering how he heated the hot tub.
We always have a different story for it every year.
Yeah.
So the first year we did it by putting beer cans full of water, not cleaned out, just filled with water, on Tommy's knockoff Blackstone that only half of it worked
Yep.
because it's Tommy's.
So yeah, it was half price.
And then trying to heat them up as best we could and then dumping those into the hot tub.
It worked.
Not
Ish.
well, but it did.
Yep.
Ish. And then last year, Tommy just spent a lot of time, effort, and money figuring out how to amp up the heater. And basically what he did was he bought a real hot tub heater and retrofitted it to his inflatable hot tub.
Okay.
And
makes
then
sense.
this year, Dalton was bringing the stacker, but only one vehicle. And we don't like to be that guy.
No.
So Dalton decided, well, if I'm bringing the stacker and I've got room, I just will bring the choppy. So the Bass Boat Cruise was out in full force. And Tommy and Dalton spent many, many hours discussing this via text message and phone call on how they could figure out a way to heat the hot tub with the cruise. And Dalton even tried flushing the system out, I think, and couldn't get it clean enough to feel comfortable with it.
Oh.
And so what they came up with was Dalton's bought I don't think exactly cheap, I think a not small amount of money went into making this work, bought a heat exchanger that had 2 inputs, 2 outputs, and basically just ran those side by side.
Yep.
And he pulled the the heater core hoses and plumbed those to one of the inputs and outputs of the heat exchanger, and then ran the pump for the hot tub to the other input and output of the heat exchanger. And it actually worked
Very well.
It worked too well in the fact that it would cool the cruise. and that the cruise, like, eventually it would get the hot tub up to like 103 or 104 degrees, which is where you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like 102 to 104 range.
I think I saw 111 at one point.
Well, so that was right on the output, or right on the input coming out of the heat exchanger. So that's the hottest it would be. But in the tub, it wasn't that hot.
I gotcha.
But actually what it was doing is that the cruise, somebody went and looked at the cruise, and the temp gauge needle was sitting on cold. And so what was decided
it's a pretty efficient system when you're doing water to water cooling.
It's a diesel, so it doesn't make a lot of temperature when it's just sitting there idling. And so what was decided was that it needed to be revved up, but nobody just wanted to sit in the cruise and rev it.
Right.
So Tommy
smell the diesel exhaust that's pumping out of
the hood,
straight pipe out of the hood with the tractor flap on
about that. So Tommy came up with this brilliant idea. He found one of those, like, you know, when you buy like a 72-piece ratchet set and they come in one of those plastic tote things that's the lid snaps shut on, a Craftsman socket set.
Yep.
He took that and say it's 2 feet long or whatever, and he would wedge that between the gas pedal and the front of the driver's seat, and then use the power seats to move the seat forward and backward to raise or lower the RPM or the idle speed of the cruise to achieve the desired temperature in the hot tub.
It's got a thermostat. Just go over there and push the seat forward a little bit.
Hey, man, hot tub's cooling off. Can you raise that up to 2,700 RPM for me?
I did not realize
and it's just
they
going
were
to
doing
go the whole time. It's just hours.
So the best part of that whole rig was like unsuspecting people would walk up and they would be like, what all is going on here? And you'd be like, all right. So we got hot dogs over there. If you want a hot dog, get some chili and some cheese. Got slushies there too, Slizzies. So
the blue one's got caffeine, just so you know.
Yep, well, the blue one's got caffeine. Spike it up with a little bit of tequila if you'd like over on the side. And here we've got a hot tub, and that is a Chevy Cruze with the top cut off, and it's heating the hot tub. And just watching the wonder and amazement wash over
these
their
people
faces.
Processing this, they're like. These are like hardcore EDM people who, like, weird is what they do.
Yeah, this is a normal weekend.
When they go out to these places, they get weird, man. That's what they do. And they're like, what the fuck is happening? What are these guys doing? Is this real life?
I think
Tommy
my favorite
with his,
was
like, caterpillar mustache going on.
Yep.
Good Lord, that's a mustache.
I think my favorite was the people that were across from us that had the Corvettes and the stacker.
Yeah, they're from up by the Sioux Falls area.
Yeah, so whenever it was all being explained to her, the look of just complete amazement on her face was just I can still just see it in my head. It was amazing.
Yeah. It's the best.
We take our partying very seriously.
We don't. Tommy does.
We're
just blessed enough to have
part
him
of
in
it.
our area.
We're part of it. We helped.
So, as always, there were way too many people in that hot tub.
Yep.
At various points throughout the weekend. It wasn't as wild and
the hot tub seemed pretty tame this year.
Yeah, it didn't get quite as because the problem was that we wanted last year GA was lame as shit.
Okay.
Last year we went over to GA at like 1 o'clock in the morning and like 3/4 of the people were asleep already.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, the party was in the paddock last year.
Yep.
And so the hot tub got real wild. And the year before it was GA wasn't that we're just coming off of COVID.
Yeah.
And there wasn't nearly as many people there. And so GA was still not quite as wild as it could be. And so again, the paddock was the party. And we were right next to Matt Williams and the Team Brat Boys with their karaoke raging until 4 o'clock in the morning. And you could just go back and forth from Hot Tub Time Attack to karaoke. And it was just a deal. Well, this year GA was raging, And so we wanted to spend more time in GA, so we were taking the cruise, and then the hot tub wasn't being heated. Is kind of what it boiled down to.
Yeah.
Do we really have a sword fighting picture?
Yeah, I took one.
Oh my god!
All right, we'll get there. So so we had probably like 14 of us piled into the cruise. You were driving.
You could call it that. Yeah, sure.
And then
James was sitting on the dash.
Captaining. You were captaining.
No,
Yeah.
James was captaining.
Yeah.
I was.
That's true.
I was just trying to hold on for dear life. James Houghton
Yep.
of GLTC and Time Attack fame.
Yep.
We tried to assemble the unit. We only got Jabay and Houghton, which was fine.
Yeah, that's good.
It is what it is. We didn't have the world's fastest Canadian this year, which really I was
Disappointing.
greatly saddened by. But James was sitting on the dash of the cruise, and he kept turning on the windshield wipers and smacking himself across the back of the head because he was facing towards the back of the car, sitting on the dash. And then his other favorite trick was to kick the thing into neutral because it's an automatic. So he kept kicking it into neutral. And then I thought I would get crafty, and so I put it in manual spot. So
Yeah.
when he kicked it, it would just downshift it.
Yeah.
And so then once he figured that out, he would just pop it over and then kick it back into neutral. And his other favorite thing to do, because he was sitting in a position where he could apply a lot of torque to it, and I couldn't do a fucking thing about it, was he would grab onto the steering wheel and try and turn us into things I didn't want to go into, like the pond.
Yep. Yeah.
So he was dead set on parking that thing in the pond.
I was pretty sure I was going to see that in the pond whenever I woke up Sunday morning.
Yeah.
He was dead set on parking that in the pond. And Dalton was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Like literally Dalton said the next day, the only reason he didn't jump in that thing later on and park it in the pond with James is because it doesn't have a good tow hook.
Oh, yeah.
And so recovery would have been difficult because he was fully prepared to back it into the pond and then leave it there till the next morning.
It's got 2 tow hooks. You just need a long strap.
That cage is not structural.
No, I'm just talking about the A-pillars.
Oh, yeah, I suppose that might
Yeah,
into
that
the
would have been
cage.
fine.
That might work all right. So, and then he also tried to get me to, James tried to get me to tip
Porta potty over.
a porta potty over.
Yep.
And I think Jabay actually said, yes, tip it over. And then I decided, you know what? I don't want to be that guy.
No.
I'm not going to tip a porta potty over.
Well, yeah, because by that time there was already a guy in a van trying to do burnouts like in the middle of the road in GA, which was a little bit sketchy.
Only a lot of it sketchy.
So the
And
thing that I disliked the most
security
about
was-
this, I have no idea what happened.
What do you mean?
I couldn't see anything.
Like when you're driving?
Yeah. I just for 2 reasons. Number one, there was so many people on the cruise that I couldn't really see what was going on.
I think there was 14 people on the
But
car. at
also
one point.
because of that, I was hyper focused on not running over a random person who was ODing on the side of the road or whatever it is they're doing.
Yeah.
Real problem I could have possibly ran into, frankly. And so it wasn't all that enjoyable for me because I was so hyper focused on
Not killing somebody.
because number one, I couldn't see, and number two, all of the things going on around us.
Yep.
So
in fairness, I wasn't driving and I was on the back of the golf cart and I had all of the same concerns.
So I was on the front of the golf cart. And the
you
reason
were sitting on the hood of the golf cart for that?
Yeah, and the reason I was on the hood was because I could sit and have my hands kind of behind me, and my left hand could reach the horn. Because
You really liked that horn. way too much.
Tommy had a train horn on his golf cart.
Of course
So
he
we'd
does.
be driving through GA, and there'd be like a big group of them. They're all like, "Woo!" And then I hit the train horn.
The horn is what got us in trouble with the security guard because James decided to just lean down on the horn and then not move. And so he was just holding it on the cruise.
Yo.
And I kept trying to push him off of there. And the security guy rolled up and started yelling at me. And I literally had my both hands up in the air. And James is still laying on the horn. The security guard's like in my face, like, stop honking. And I was like, does it look like I'm doing this to you? Does this look to you? And then when he was done yelling at us, and Jabay did not flex his weight this year like he did last year, unfortunately, he told me to move on. But in the time we were standing there, a crowd had gathered. And so there were a bunch of people in front of us and I couldn't go anywhere. And the dude's literally yelling at me, "Go!" And I was like, "You want me to run these people over?" And he would yell, "You need to get moving." And I would point forward, and he would say, "Just go." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't." Like, these people are literally on the hood of this thing, like leaning over the hood of this cruise.
Yeah.
I can't move forward. I will run these people over.
Well, and at one point they told people to get, like, he was telling people to get off of it and like telling James to sit down in the car and stuff.
Yeah.
And then once finally everybody moved so you could start going, like, the 4 people that had jumped off all piled right back on where they were.
Well, that's the other thing. I didn't realize that because again, I couldn't see anything. I didn't realize that as we're driving around, people are like strangers are jumping on and off of this thing.
Random people.
There was random people. That wing that is on that thing is extremely flexible. It had like 4 people sitting on it, and it was touching the deck lid.
It has an S2000 CR replica wing on it,
and it didn't break. I was impressed.
Yeah, it must be made out of that same stuff that one company does, that they ship it to you in a box and you have to sit it out in the sun for it to like reshape itself, because it was putting in some work.
And shortly before that, we were cruising around, and then
I tried to drive it up over the berm and onto the racetrack.
Yep.
That did happen.
You didn't get very far.
No, it just did burnouts.
Yep. So then Dalton gets out to go pee.
Because that's what Dalton does.
Just peeing on the grass. And so then Dalton's peeing, and we're all like, literally everyone's
yelling
there.
at him.
Yeah. So he just turns around.
Like Dalton will do.
Both hands off.
It's not a weekend with Dalton if you don't see his penis.
Yeah, so he's just standing there peeing, looking at dead eye on all of us. So
then when he says all of us, we mean like 30 of us. Because there's like 15 people on the cruise and probably 10 people at least on the golf cart.
And then you got Sam's mom in her Bronco as well.
Oh, that's right. And then there were all the people who were camped. But so I pulled into an empty camping spot. And so there's
the best part.
There's people on both sides of
this. There was people in the camping spot next to it. It was like 4 guys standing there with each one of them with a beer in their hand,
just watching it. It looked like the scene from King of the Hill, where those guys are standing in the alley drinking beer.
Yeah,
that's what those guys looked like.
Yeah.
They're just standing there sipping their beers, and like we roll up. Dalton jumps out.
I did dirt burnouts with the cruise.
Yep.
Yeah, so a Chevy Cruze, the world's sketchiest golf cart, and a brand new Ford Bronco.
A pimped out brand new Ford Bronco.
Yep.
Iowa man jumps out and then waves his manhood around, and these guys are just still standing there, just like sipping their beer. Like, you need another one? Yeah, I'll take one.
And then Tommy jumps out.
So then Dalton's pissing. Tommy jumps out. And then he starts pissing face to face with with Dalton.
He pissed on Dalton.
Yeah, he literally peed on it.
He peed on his shoe.
So then they started chasing each other around, trying to pee on each other.
They were trying to cross the streams.
They got way too close with their penises.
It's fine. I mean, they're only within like 3 feet of each other there.
That was not the closest they got.
No, not even close. Oh, man. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. I had to take a picture of it because this needs to be remembered.
Yeah, that's fair. So we started by the tower in the paddock.
Yes,
where the
dyno and stuff was set up.
Where the dyno and the karaoke was set up. We drove all the way down to where pit lane comes in off the racetrack. Drove all the way around out through Spectator Hill, or out towards GA, right? We're going up that back road. So that took us 10, 15 minutes.
Sure.
And just as we were coming around the corner of the festival grounds to go into GA camping, James goes, "Is that a fucking dog in the back seat?" Because Diesel had been with us this whole time. Diesel was just like between Katie and the Powers from Sioux Falls across from us. That were parked across from us, just sitting in the back of the seat.
I don't know how there was that many people in that seat with that dog. That is so much dog.
Yeah, so Katie, my wife, drove down there Friday night because she decided she didn't want to be alone because our kids were at her dad's house.
Yep.
And for one reason or another, through different things, I don't think Katie's had more than a handful than like 10 or 15 minutes at a time where she's been completely alone for probably more than 5 years.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
As a
with kids,
stay-at-home mom with
kids and stuff.
That's called having kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Luckily, they don't change anything. We'll get there.
So she probably won't love that I say this, but she's got a little bit of anxiety and
Happens.
and depression issues and stuff like that. And she was kind of tweaking out about it.
Yeah.
But she was like, I really don't want to go.
Like the worst time for that is when you're alone.
Right.
Really.
Yeah. And so she was scared of what was going to happen if she was home alone that long. And I was like, well, just come to the racetrack. She's like, are you serious? And I didn't think for a second
That she'd drive that
Katie
far.
hates driving. The longest she's ever driven by herself is 4 hours.
Oh, man.
And that was also to come see me.
Man, you're a special boy.
I am special. But yeah, she drove all the way up there Friday night, got there at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And so, yeah, she joined in on the shenanigans.
Showed up, got handed a slushie, and moved on.
So she's driving up there, right? And I text her and I go, SpongeBob's in our hot tub.
Oh, God.
And she's like, what? Question mark? And then I didn't answer because I was busy, right? And cell phone service barely works anyway. So
Yeah.
like I didn't bother answering. And so in her mind, I think she thought like somebody had a SpongeBob stuffed animal or
something.
a plastic action figure or something. And it like ended up in our hot tub.
Sure.
Right. What was reality is that Fong of Team Twerk Racing made some sort of SpongeBob costume.
Yep.
And it was a big cardboard box that had the eyes cut out and he could stick his hands out the side of it.
Yep.
And it just went over the top of him. And then there was, I don't know how he made the pants and stuff, but the sponge part of SpongeBob was sponges glued to the box side by side.
Okay.
And he ran over and like dunked his head in the hot tub. Because
that's what you do.
I mean, what else are you going to do, right?
Yep.
And then Katie gets there and she'd been there for like 35, 40 minutes, right? She'd been there for a little while. And I think that was when we were doing our first trip through GA on the golf cart that night. And we're driving along in the golf cart and I could hear chanting, like people like getting real wild, right? And we came around the corner of the porta potty row and there's Fong in his SpongeBob costume standing on top of a car or something, dancing, and like 60 people gathered around him going, SpongeBob, SpongeBob, SpongeBob. And I look at Katie, who's sitting next to me, I go, see, that was in the hot tub. And she's like, that is not what I had pictured. Like,
not at all.
Somebody, you guys might have covered this. I was gone for a second, but somebody yelled whenever he was about to get into the hot tub was, it's going to absorb all the water.
That's funny.
Was that when he took his pants off?
No, that was when he came back without the SpongeBob costume on.
Oh, he just got naked, jumped in
and
the
he
hot tub.
came running in. He was just wearing shorts, dropped shorts, completely nude, and jumped in the hot tub with his wife just standing there like, yep, that's my husband.
Yeah,
So
she's got to be used to it by now.
Yeah.
That's his.
If there's anyone who's more patient than Tommy's significant other, it's his.
Yes. Those are the two most patient women on the planet.
Yeah. So
speaking of driving around randomly in Tommy's golf cart, I also have on my list, what does ASM stand for?
Oh, yeah.
that was the first night. So last year at Mid-Ohio, Tommy... so last year ASM threw those block parties on Saturday night, and Tommy wanted to park his golf cart in the line next to all the ASM cars because because he's Tommy.
Yeah, just to mess with people.
And I don't know who gave him spray paint, but somehow Tommy ended up with spray paint. And he spray painted.
Seems like a bad plan.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He spray painted flames, I guess.
Oh, that's what those are?
On the front of it.
I assume those were flames.
Yeah, I think they're flames. And then wrote ASM on the side of the golf cart. So
and the hood.
And the hood so that he could park it in the line with all the ASM cars. And so then,
this is even funnier knowing that Andy is like all of their stuff is like wrapped and like everything is
perfect.
just
Like
Just
they put on a show.
perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the most professional looking group of cars in the paddock as far as like
A team.
a put together. But then we're driving around Thursday night. We decided, like, okay, it's time to show Dusty what GA is about. And as we're coming into there, there's a UTV leaving, and the driver flags me down. I didn't recognize the driver. And he goes, "What's ASM stand for?" And I reach over across the side, and I go, "Andy Smedgard Motorsports." And about halfway through it, I realize that Smedgard is sitting in the fucking passenger seat of this UTV. And then it's a bunch of ASM guys. And Andy goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, you painted it on here at Mid-Ohio." And he goes, "I did?" I said, "I think you did anyway. I'm pretty sure it was you." And like, he didn't argue about it. And they all just laughed. And I think at first they might have been mad. And then I explained it.
Yeah.
And then they thought it was funny and just carried on. But
yeah, the best part is because they were having a rip-roaring party at Mid-Ohio, so he was good and drunk.
I mean,
so
it wasn't Topeka, but
fair. But yeah, he don't remember.
yeah, probably.
Sure,
Yeah,
maybe I did. Maybe I did paint it.
My theory was, tell him that he painted it on there at Topeka, and he would have no.
Yeah, if I'd have been faster
no leg
about
to
that,
stand on.
if I'd have been faster about that thought, I for sure could have told him he did it at Topeka, and he wouldn't have thought twice about whether or not he really did. Because I got real wild for a bunch of people that night, for sure.
Those guys rightfully had a good time after that race.
Yeah, it was well deserved, no doubt. But yeah, I thought he was a little mad there at first, but it's all good.
So, what other quotes do you have?
So let's see. I have, "Hey man, that's your buddy's pile of vomit."
Oh my god!
So there was a guy in the hot tub area, not in the hot tub, but in the hot tub area, that had been having a good time that afternoon. I think because this was still like the sun was still.
It was
way up.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, track had just
who's
gone
that?
cold, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like between 6 and 7 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
He stood up from one of the lawn chairs and proceeded to let loose the contents of his stomach across the road, like right outside of our paddock space.
Like projectile vomited. Just like it had a good distance.
We all looked at each other like, "Wait a minute, did we just see that?" And then like looked down at the ground. Yep, that is what we just saw. Yeah, okay. So I think E-Man went and got some water and tried to like do a little like spirited splash across it to
Make it go
disperse
away.
it
Yeah.
a little bit. And totally whiffed and like overshot it by like 5 feet the first.
Classic.
And so then later on, like 10 or 11 o'clock, maybe even later than that guy was back through later without a shirt on.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
hot out. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And he said, "Man, I just really appreciate you guys for not letting me die early."
Yeah, because Tommy like got him a bottle of water and
Yeah,
stick to you, didn't he?
Tommy got him straightened out because he knew that he was missing a little bit of hydration from the equation for the day.
Yeah.
Let's see. Talking to Abe, I believe. Adam's explanation of the hot tub was, "It's a little cloudy, but there was a bluegill in there earlier."
It's true, there was. So it turns out Gingerman Pond is quite the fishing hole. As Dalton and Lucas and I found out, we spent like an absurd amount of time fishing. An absurd amount of time. Like, I'll bet we pulled 24 bluegill out of that pond.
Dalton almost missed his the podium session
sprint because
Abe was
still over there.
mad.
Oh, really?
Abe was legitimately mad.
Oh, that's funny.
Because Dalton realized he was late and was getting his stuff ready to get in the car, and Abe rolled up and was like literally yelling at him that he was going to miss it. Because
funny.
obviously if Dalton doesn't go, like the whole live stream is based on those guys being there.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, top 5, and he doesn't fucking show up.
That's hilarious.
Top 4.
Yeah.
Whoops. That's
Well, then it
super funny.
becomes an issue because I don't think they've got 6th and 7th on standby or anything. So
No.
like it kind of it doesn't look good for the live stream, but it also kind of screws the person that was in 6th because if he doesn't show, they would have
we would have had somebody go up there.
In theory, would have had a chance to go up there. So, but let's see. Me yelling from the back of the golf cart while we're driving through GA. Robbie, tacos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
do we want to explain that?
Yeah. So he's gonna have to explain it now.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So tacos is my wife and I for probably 10 years now have had the running thing of like if we see a girl that has things hanging out of the top, bottom, or side of a piece of clothing, we just look at each other and go, tacos.
All right.
That's our code word.
I didn't realize that's what that was. That's a way better backstory than I had in my head.
Yeah. So this year, because it was so hot, the basic general outfit for the girls in the EDM side of the concerts was basically just lingerie, fishnets.
Yeah, if you could even call it that on some of them.
Yeah, just like
generally fishnets and something that would almost pass as swimwear.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah,
in some places.
So anytime we'd see a girl like that, we'd yell tacos, and then we'd all look because we're perverts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there was that one girl with chain link underwear.
Yeah, that was weird.
Which was weird.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah,
I wasn't mad about it. It was just weird.
I hadn't seen that before. Yeah,
no,
it was all actual chains for the
the straps from front to back were like legit chains,
like from a chain wallet,
and she had them like pulled up so you could see them. She wanted you to know.
Yeah,
it was very weird.
Yeah.
So
then the one girl had a dog collar on her neck.
Of course she did.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she was getting a slushie.
Was that the same girl that left the duck and the little alien balloon?
No, that was a different girl.
Okay.
She didn't have a dog collar.
Wait, what?
So like Dalton, like did you notice in Dalton's car there was like a flashing green alien?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So the girl that was like directly across from us came over and like put a little rubber ducky on my car, and then put that flashing green alien in Dalton's car.
Oh, okay.
And then she like disappeared
and
into
just
the
left.
night.
Yeah.
Into the night. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
I think it was still daylight at that point, but
it doesn't matter.
It makes for a better story.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Okay, let's see. So a significant portion of the Gridlife media team came over after we got back from GA on Saturday night and all like bombed into the hot tub at once. And one of the guys like immediately after putting his foot in there said, "Oh my God, it's hot as fuck in here."
Because it legitimately was up to 100 like something degrees.
We got it real warm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because that was the same time after that, like Dalton jumps out and he's like steaming like for a while after he gets out.
Awesome.
And it wasn't cool that night. Like it wasn't like
it
was.
No, it was not.
I think it did get cool enough that night that I finally put on a hoodie. But
well, so it was less than 80.
Yeah. Let's see. So somebody had the theory around that same time of that you just got to get a bunch of guys in the hot tub and then the girls will show up.
Yeah, because that's how it works. You know what's not intimidating? A hot tub with 15 dudes in it.
Yeah,
that'll bring the girls in for sure. Jesus.
Okay, so then I'm moving on past the actual the at festival quotes on here, but Robbie, after pulling around the back of the truck stop, I said to myself, did he leave me?
Yeah, he thought I fucking ditched him.
So we pull up to the stop and we pull into the gas pumps and it's a truck stop with like the separated car portion of the truck stop parking lot, and we pull into the car section. I go in, go to the bathroom, come back out, the truck's gone, and it's got a divider across the parking lot, so I don't know that you can just pull right through this and go into the truck stop side. So I walk out. He's not there. I walk down the front of the gas station, down the parking lot, like,
Holy crap.
Robbie?
Guess where his phone is.
Get around the corner of the building. Still no Robbie. Feel of my pocket. My phone is in his truck still.
Oh, no.
So I had pulled off into the truck area and parked next to all the trucks because that's where I had to be.
Yeah.
So then I went inside, went to the restroom, and then had gone back to the truck, and he still hadn't found me.
Whoops.
So I'm retracing my steps, going back up by the gas pumps, and like thinking through, like, Robbie travels by himself a lot. Maybe my fun stories all morning were not as fun as I thought they were.
Oh, man.
That would have been the best. I mean, it would have been terrible, but it would have been so funny.
Oh, by the way, Dusty's waiting at this truck stop.
So I get back around, and I'm just like, as I'm walking up to the truck, I'm just laughing to myself over like the imagining of the process that would take place after he leaves me at the truck stop with no phone. And the only people I know in this entire part of the country, I only know them through Facebook Messenger. I have no idea what their actual phone numbers are.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you would have to.
Yeah, you'd have to call Jen, and then she would have to go and like friend one of us or something. I don't know. And like, yeah, that would be amazing. That would be so funny because none of us have each other's phone numbers anymore. Like, nobody exchanges phone numbers. That's not a thing you do. You just DM people.
Well, then if you really need to call somebody, you just do it over Messenger.
Yeah. That's so funny.
So I walk back up to the truck, and I'm like, I was kind of starting to think you left me. And Robbie just laughs, and he says, that'd be a pretty sick burn.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Oh, that's my favorite story. I didn't know for sure. Holy shit. That would have been the best.
Yeah, so it wasn't like I planned it or even was hiding. It was just
and it was purely just that I glanced over and saw that there was a curb running down that and just didn't think twice about it. I was like, oh, he probably just made the loop and pulled back around. And then as I walked back up, I saw there's like a car width section in the middle of it that you can drive through, which typically those don't really have in my vast experience of pulling a trailer through a truck stop. So once I saw that, I just like started giggling to myself of like, man, this is highly, highly amusing to me at this point in this crazy ass weekend.
That's one of my son's favorite things to do.
What's that?
Like if Katie goes inside and we're at a gas station and I get done, like he just thinks it's so funny to move and hide somewhere. The other thing he loves to do is if we're all in the van and she's getting in, I'll put it in drive and like inch forward while she's trying. He'll just die laughing in the backseat. He thinks that's the best. Leave her, Daddy. We don't need her. Just leave her here. No. So
I genuinely thought that E-Man and Sarah were going to murder us. Because
I don't know.
They brought their
Friday
6-month-old.
Yeah, probably a 6-month-old.
Yeah, young child, and they do everything together. They're
an adorable couple.
Yeah, they're a close family. So E-Man doesn't leave her. So like he doesn't go to GA and do anything. And every time we're like, we're gonna go to GA, and he's like, I'll stay here, see you guys. And Dusty, every time he does that, goes, yeah, but kids don't change anything. And you could tell the more times he said it, the more mad E-Man got.
Yeah.
It's better when it comes from me or Dusty than when it comes from you guys. It's way better when it comes. It has to hurt so much more when it comes from me and Dusty. For sure. Because that was one thing E-Man told us when he had a kid, is that they weren't going to let having a kid change the way they lived and did things.
Which I will give them 100% credit. They have rocked everywhere they would normally go with him.
Yes.
So.
I'll tell you this. My 2-year-old isn't coming to a Midwest Fest anytime soon.
No.
I feel like now my son is probably old enough that I'd be willing to bring him. But my daughter, I'm not taking there.
No, that seems like way too much work.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'm not even sure I'm going to bother. Right now, Katie and I, we've been debating on whether or not we're going to even try and figure out a way to bring her to Road America, or if they're just not going to come with.
right.
Because I don't know that we're going to sleep in a tent, and I sure as fuck ain't going to try and put her in the trailer with you, because I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I get that. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Having done it with, he turned 2 while we were there at Topeka.
I think he turned 3. Okay, maybe because not as old as I thought he was.
But yeah, having done that at Topeka with a kid that was substantially older than what Wyatt is, man, they're dedicated to it. So
yeah, no, kudos to that, but it's still really funny.
Then it's crazy to me because, like, when you were in Topeka, you guys parked over in the quiet area away from us, and then Sarah and Eman park right next to me
between us and Tommy.
So then at 2 a.m., when everyone does two-step at 2, you got Jeremy on the other side of Tommy with his Mustang, just whop, 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 whop.
Yeah, with his turbo LS Mustang.
And then Dalton with his Corvette.
He's like, I can do better than that. Apparently, the Mustang was way louder
inside their trailer, which is weird because it's not a loud car compared to Dalton's Corvette.
Not where we were sitting.
No, that Corvette's
Dalton's
loud.
was extremely loud.
Yeah,
I thought for sure like one or both of them was coming out of the trailer at 2, just ready to fucking throw a hammer at somebody. But they didn't.
You thought you were mad when someone peed on your trailer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Waking their baby.
That kid
slept through it though.
Yeah. Kudos to him, I guess.
And look at this picture. I totally forgot that we put broken don't drink on the NOS slushy because we all liked it so much.
Yeah, that's true. And then
Tommy was saying that he refused to put caffeine on the label because he had done an experiment somewhere else at a party at his house or something. And if you put caffeine on it, that's the only one that people drink, apparently. He went through it like 3-1 versus any of the others. So
weird.
It became just a verbal warning about caffeine rather than it just being on the label.
I felt like that's something we needed to tell people.
Yeah.
Because if they're mixing booze, you don't
want to go Four Loko route.
You can choose caffeine. That's your own deal, but you should do it knowingly.
That's fair.
Also, when after we had gone through the case of Purple NOS making slushies, which was incredible, and it was almost empty, he added Gatorade to it, I think.
Oh, yeah, and it made like shit brown.
And it made it shit brown, so then he labeled it shit brown. And that one, like, nobody drank it the rest of the night.
Yeah, he was over there going, hey guys, look, it's shit brown. Like, yep.
It still tastes
sure is,
good.
Tommy.
Yep. Oh, man.
Wow. So I guess Friday night after us old fuddy-duddies had gone to bed and they decided to go
at 2 a.m, I might add. Like, it's
right.
not
Yeah, we went to
early.
bed at like between 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. They decided to make one more trip through GA, and apparently they had picked up a bunch of randos. They had done it with a cruise. I don't even know if they brought the golf cart, but they were in the cruise, and they had picked up a bunch of randos, and apparently there was a girl who was twerking in a thong.
Yeah.
And
oh no!
So she was. She was
about that.
She was standing on
top of the
cage, and Lucas had shown us a video of it. Okay, fine, whatever. Sam's video was from underneath, looking up, and there was a large red spot.
Ew.
I don't think she realized.
No. Well, then
there were a lot of people who I don't know that they had any. Like the second night when we had gone to the concert. That dude that was standing next to Dusty and Katie and I, he was on another dimension.
Yeah, he was looking through the stage and through the atmosphere and into the eye of God.
Yeah.
We
were watching those, was it Boogie T at the time? And all of his was like very psychedelic tie-dye colors.
Yep.
And that guy,
whatever he was on,
you couldn't have broke his gaze at what was happening on those screens.
His interpretive dance.
Yep,
the music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And his pupils were not small.
they took up his whole eye.
My favorite part of it was he was wearing 2 pieces of clothing. He was wearing like gold hot pants shorts
Yeah.
and a Valvoline bucket hat.
I'm sure that Valvoline really appreciates that.
Yeah, I wanted to get a video clip of it and then like take it to Pennsylvania or wherever their headquarters are and just like find some high ranking executive and be like, This is your youth marketing. It's working well. Awesome job.
Oh my god.
Jabay and Chris Stewart would not appreciate that. So,
I mean, they have
fine.
demographic boxes that they're trying to check by doing that, and I'm sure he's within that demographic.
I suppose.
I mean, if I was spending money from a manufacturer perspective, I would love to see the diversity of people that are engaging with those companies at that event. It's really crazy.
It's almost like you think about that stuff in your day-to-day job.
A little bit. Yep.
So this year was an especially interesting crowd in the music area because I think we had like Chris seems to like to try and kind of
Have a theme.
of the year, and this year musically anyway, and this year was like really much more like hardcore heavy EDM
Yeah.
than other years past for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, was it 2 years ago? Was it the year that you were with us that it was like jam bands?
Yeah.
And it was a really stonery vibe.
Yep.
And that was a year that GA was lame as shit.
Yep. That was the one.
And then
The
so
EDM people know how to balance their uppers and downers better.
there was a lot of both of them. Oh my God. Yeah. It was a very interesting crowd from outfits to drug usage to everything.
But
this year.
at the same time, it was like probably one of the best crowds.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
like vibe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone was in a good mood. Like everyone was like super chill.
Yeah,
Like, it
they
was,
enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun crowd.
Yeah.
Whenever we went back over on Friday night for the last part of Subtronics, like that, I'd been listening to the playlist on Spotify for a little bit, and one of the songs that had struck me on that playlist whenever they played that, and the whole crowd was just jumping up and down with it. I was like, man, this is badass, and I've been listening to this music for like 11 days now.
I can't get my head around listening to that casually.
No, I have to be at the concert.
Yeah.
I like it at the concert. I can't like in my headphones. No.
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 Like I can't imagine like getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and going to work.
Listen to that.
I mean, like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to Subtronics on my way to work today. Like, that's not a thing that I think about. If that popped up on my random shuffle, I would hit the next button.
I listened to it. I listened to that playlist that he's talking about on Spotify when I was in the shop. But it's just if I'm not at the concert, it doesn't do anything for me. It's just not my jam.
No, not me either. So,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be on my like top artists at the end of the year on Spotify. Make me look that much more like an insane person for the random variety of stuff that's on there. But
yeah.
So do we have any more quotes? I feel like there's more quotes.
I think that was the majority of it. I looked at you at 3:30 on Monday morning whenever we were getting ready to leave, and I said 24 hours ago we were just going to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird turnaround.
It always is.
It didn't hit me. The hangover didn't hit me until like Tuesday afternoon.
Yep.
Like Monday, I was just straight adrenaline, and then like woke up and I was still on the high from it. And then like Tuesday afternoon, I was like, "Oh yeah, I am too old to do that shit."
Dude,
And now you're gonna do it every year. That's the best
last
part.
week was maybe the worst week of my life. I was so tired. I never caught up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I just didn't want to be at work because work's been especially shitty lately.
Yep.
And then I just got back from that. And I don't think I've had a worse week in my life.
Yeah, I could tell.
Ugh.
Oh, I did miss one quote on the list. It's Robbie's catchphrase.
Oh yeah.
Which one is that?
It's the one that we would always yell at the bar. So when I was working when I was in college, there was a group of us because I was working I stayed in Ames for the summer, so I worked at Danfoss and we were building hydraulic pumps and transmissions. And then the group of us from that line would go out together, and like I was the youngest by far. So these guys were comfortably in their 30s, and we'd just go out to like the bars or whatever. And then anytime one of them would take a shot, I remember Dan specifically, he would take a shot and yell, "I'm fucking 20." So,
Which bartenders do not appreciate people yelling in their bar, just so we're all on the same page here.
but that has stuck with me for a decade.
Oh, for sure, dude. That's
So-
like one of the things. There's two things that I know Robbie Veerhout loves to say, and that's "I'm fucking 20" and "I can't see a broke dick." Those are two. Those are two things that Robbie loves to say. I know these for facts.
Yeah, it's true.
I've heard him many, many, many times.
Because that's how you would describe driving the cruise with all those people.
Yeah, I couldn't see a broke dick.
You're broke dick.
I have no idea what that means, but you know exactly what you're trying. The point is crystal clear and completely foggy at the same time. It's an incredible phrase.
You could see it on that Berman GA though.
But yeah, so every time we'd be driving like on the golf cart or whatever, and you'd hear like a group of people go "woo,"
Yeah.
and then I'd just yell, "I'm fucking 20," and then I'd honk the horn. The train horn was the best.
Oh God, what a fucking mess!
Man,
I could do that every weekend.
I want to, but I could not do that every weekend.
That's
I'd be
fair.
up for like a spring and a fall.
Yeah,
It'd be
I'd be curious what Road America is going to be like. Probably lame,
It's gonna not be that way.
super lame.
it's
Mid Ohio.
well, it's
Mid
gonna
Ohio
be
will be
a-
fun.
Mid Ohio is gonna be a time, yeah, because that's Tommy's home track, if you will.
Yep.
There's a very real possibility that the Turbo Festiva will be there,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
so you can drive that in all of its terrifying glory.
Yep. Yeah,
so Road America for a NASCAR weekend will be a party everywhere, just in general. So
I don't think it will be like. I bet the paddock is the quietest place
oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
I
but
bet
there's
it's
camping,
deadly
like-
serious.
because people. I promise you, the Porsche Carrera Cup guys are not fun.
No, probably not.
They're not fun. They can't
because
be.
they race WRL when they're not doing that. So they're the ones that are going back to the hotel at 6:00 every night.
Well, there is that.
Yup, that was weird. At WRL, 'cause it goes cold.
Quietest.
There's the paid mechanics are still there wrenching,
Right.
and everyone else is just fucking gone. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Not grassroots. Just so we're perfectly clear.
It is grassroots.
No, it's
Robbie.
not.
I just asked
It's
them to
pro
tell
am.
you.
It is pro am.
So is Gridlife.
So is Gridlife.
It's grassroots, but the two S's are dollar signs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Well, luckily we got Gridlife. That's grassroots and cheap and
yeah, that's
attainable.
what it is.
Oh wait.
So isn't it annoying that now you have yet another event that you just can't miss now?
I mean, so for like a really long time, I've heard people talk about like having like guys trips where they just go out with their buddies for a 4 or 5 day thing and just goof off and act like idiots the whole time. And
Yeah.
I've always
Usually
told
it's
myself,
around fishing or golfing or
yeah,
strip clubs
Yeah, so
or whatever.
I've always told myself like I need to find like that thing in that group of people, and I just had to listen to a podcast with some guys from Iowa to find it, I guess. So
That being said, you should bring Jen for sure.
yeah, I was telling her about it, and she was like, "That sounds like." She had a similar reaction to what Jess did whenever Robbie was telling her about it on Sunday night.
Maybe it was good that I didn't go. Was her exact words.
I feel like they should at least once.
They have to experience it.
They have to go at least once. Like I brought Katie, and like I don't know that Katie wants to do it again,
No, but
but she enjoyed herself.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I would
She
say
told
so.
her friends.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't like
Ashamed of what she'd just done for
Right.
3 days.
yeah. And I think it's important because it's such a big part of our lives. I think it's important that our significant others at least experience it once so that they can understand it.
Yes.
Well, as well.
Maybe not maybe not understand it, but
So I
mean,
think the coolest part of it to me was because the only thing I was wondering about going into it was like, okay, there's a lot of people just partying it up, having a good time. Like, I've reached the point in my life where I'm not the type of person that will just.
Sorry, there was a bug.
Relax,
flying in front
bro.
of me, and I was trying to hit it away from me, and I smacked the microphone. Sorry. Anyway, continue with your deep thought.
I've reached the point where I don't hang out around people that are like out of control drunk anymore.
Yeah,
I just don't.
for sure.
It's just not. It's not my deal.
It's never really been my thing at all.
right.
Yeah.
But
So the cool thing there was like whatever type of scene you wanted, you could go find, and everybody was just super chill and welcoming, and like roaming around the track during during Friday and Saturday. It was like every time I stopped somewhere to shoot, I would just end up striking up a conversation with somebody, and I don't do that. I'm antisocial, and just talk about like if it was somebody that had a camera, I was like, we just talk about camera nerd stuff, or I ended up talking to that guy with the yellow Super Bee. I randomly ran into him, and he started asking me questions because I was wearing a Willwood hat, and we just talked about Optima stuff and cars in general and the sickness that is driving old cars on track.
But you had a number of interactions with people in GA while you were over there shooting in that was like people who they didn't come because of the cars. They came because of the music, and they have they're what Jabay uses the term I love, car curious.
So there was a couple
which
of guys
I think is
that,
interesting.
They said that there was a group that they all had Subarus, and I don't think they really had any interest in track stuff. They were just they just are Subaru people. I think they probably had customized out like WRXs and stuff, but
yeah, they have RPF 01s and fart cans.
Yeah, but they were they were there because they were all into EDM. But he was asking me questions about the track stuff because he was like, I watch a little bit of like IMSA here and there or something like that. I don't really get into it. And I was like, okay, well, these are the drift cars. That's why there's the smoke.
Right.
Or that's a Sunday Cup car, and that's why it's smoking.
So one thing I just realized I should probably talk about. So again, Kyle invited me to be on the live stream with him for one session. And of course, the session that I was on, we had a big accident.
Yep.
And that meant a car caught on fire in turn 10, which you couldn't be farther away from where the safety crew is if you wanted to be. And so it takes them a long time to get out there, and the car was on fire, and it was not a good deal. And so we had a long intermission, if you will,
Yep.
where we had to fill time. And if anybody can fill time, it's me.
Yeah.
So we were talking about stuff. And I can't remember which came first, whether it was the drones or the interview. But either way, so at one point I had mentioned again, we were watching the drone fly around and just talking about stuff. And I had mentioned again that like, oh man, I still really want to put a transponder on one of these. But I think the problem is that we have to be at a track where we're all set up on the inside in order for them to be able to get around the whole track, because they can't reach down to turn 10, and the production crew can talk to us on our headphones. And one of them pops in and goes, actually, this year where they're set up, we can fly the whole track. And so then they're like, oh yeah, they're telling us like that this year they can actually fly the whole thing. So like, let's stopwatch time this. Let's see how it goes. And so he just like comes barreling down the front straight, and we just clicked start, on a stopwatch. Somebody in the production trailer was doing it, and the thing, like, you could tell coming down the back straight, he was running out of battery.
Oh yeah.
And he came across that line at like a 46 or something like that, and it literally like crossed the start finish line, got over the K rail, and fell to the ground dead. Like, that's how close it was.
As Ferdinand Porsche intended, it crosses the finish line and then falls to pieces.
Yeah. And so then Matt, who was the drone pilot comes running over, and he's like, my battery died. Let me get a new battery. I can go way faster than that. Like, he's yelling at me and Kyle through the opening in the side of the tent, like, I can do that way faster. And so we did it again, and he like did it with a full charge, and we were like legit timing it this time.
Yep.
The fucking thing ran like a 33, like a minute 33.
That is moving.
Yeah.
Those-
He was easily pacing like what I would consider like fast GLTC or Club TR or street class cars.
Oh yeah.
Some of the street mod or track mod cars, it could pull away in the straightaways, but in the straightaways, he was easily keeping up with like anything under 300 horsepower
Wow.
in a straight line. And then through the corners, he doesn't slow down. And so like it turns fast enough. It doesn't care.
It kicks up in the air and traction's not
and
a
so
factor.
like
It's
you know, Ernesto's in his track mod C6 Corvette, it'd pull away a little bit on the front straightaway, but then from turn 5 to turn 10, he'd be waiting for the car,
right?
You know, and so. Dude, that thing is so fast. It's so ridiculous. And there's like a ton of people commenting in the comment section. Like, people were loving it on the live stream. It was hilarious. And then apparently they had sent, I can't ever remember her name. She's got a little bit of a weird name, but she was on the live stream a bunch too with Kyle. She works for FCP Euro. I think she's like their social media person.
Yep.
And she does a lot of stuff with Gridlife at these events. Well, she was walking around doing like recording interviews that they could use for this situation, and she came over and interviewed Tommy, and she literally stood in the hot tub with Tommy and did the interview with like the Glizzy roller behind us and the old slushy machine next to him, and Tommy being Tommy, he was a douchebag about it. And so when she asked him a question, he was literally quoting the Talladega Nights thing with his hands like slowly raising up and like
the car
bumbling something about, well, the car was, you know, the car and then she like tried to, she could tell this wasn't going anywhere, and so she just cut it. And I figured there's no way they're going to show that, right? Like, okay, yeah, he was a jerk about it. It's fine, whatever. Well, that was, for whatever reason, the interview they decided to show while I was on the live stream. Thank you for that. And so then we get done with that, and Kyle's like laughing about it, you know, and commenting. I was like, yeah, so, yeah, that's my paddock space. Those are my friends. Those are the people I'm here with this weekend. And we started talking about that, and I said, yeah, Tommy's giving away hot dogs and slushies. You know, he calls them, he's calling them Slizzies and Glizzies. And Kyle goes, yeah, I don't like those words used together. So, as is often the case with me getting involved in anything, it was by far and away the most off the rails live stream session, I'm pretty sure, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I don't know that Kyle enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed it, because Kyle's much more serious about it than I am. But yeah, it was a deal.
It sounds like it went very well.
So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and the viewers enjoyed it.
The viewers enjoyed it for sure.
So that was qualifying one. If you want to go to the Gridlife YouTube and pull up the live tab.
Yeah, it was
qualifying one at 4:30 Eastern on Friday.
Yeah,
I need to get back and watch it.
Yeah.
And then so I had those Petrobox magnets that had my car on it.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, you didn't see that?
I know. I remember. I forgot about this. I would love to know where they ended up.
So I brought a stack of them with me, and I was going to hand them out to anyone that wanted one. So then I took...
But nobody cares, Robbie.
Yeah, but nobody cares. I don't care. Nobody cares.
Work harder.
I try, and it just doesn't work out. So then I took basically, I don't know, like 20 of them and put them on the back of the Datsun. And then anytime someone would say something like, oh, here, take it, have this magnet. And then we started throwing them on things to see if they would stick. So
they don't stick on modern Ford F-Series pickup trucks.
Not at all.
Weird.
But the funniest thing was Jeremy was talking to somebody, or like they drove up and he's like, oh man, I really like your underglow. And like just slaps it under their door, and they don't even realize and just take off. So there's
so many vehicles drove by, and it got to the point where there's like 6 of you guys just to see who can most coolly apply a fridge magnet to the side of semi trucks, trailers, cars, race cars, street cars,
FCP Euros
cars, yeah.
rig.
Well, the golden era car.
Oh
got
yeah,
one on
the
the door,
golden
I
era
think.
car.
Yeah.
There was one that ended up on Von Gitten's Fun Haver stacker rig when it was leaving on Sunday morning.
I hope they made it so wherever they were going, and then like someone see like, what the fuck is this?
Depends on how good of magnets John's buying.
I really
They're
wish
not that good.
I really wish that John included Instagram.
Oh, the handles.
Handles
Well,
on
my
those?
name's on it, like first and last.
Yeah, but right now they're just mad at Petrolbox. They're not mad at Robbie Veerhout.
Yeah, they are. It says driver of the month, Robert Veer.
Well, yeah, but it's from Petrolbox. They don't know who you are. They just see Petrolbox.
Fair enough.
That's guerrilla marketing right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
Trying to think what other shenanigans we did.
That's about it. That's got to be
I
about
think
it.
so.
Do we want to mention that the overall track record got broken?
I mean, I suppose we probably
I
should in
guess, if you
some
want-
way, shape. I genuinely don't.
During practice on Thursday.
Yeah. Ferris is a crazy person.
I watched the session before. I was not by the track whenever he went back out.
I did watch it. I did get to see it. And I also watched him bang out like 125s in a row, which is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, the car
Yeah,
is on another level of reliability for an unlimited class car at this point. I hope, anyway. I genuinely hope. So, because, yeah, it's leaving for Australia here very, very soon.
Yeah, like a week or two.
Yeah.
'Cause I know he did some testing.
I think like next week. He was testing at Crescent with it this week.
Sad day.
He did I guess one of the first sessions testing with it with the extra 300 pounds added to the car.
Gross. Minimum class weights in in unlimited class time attack. Get out of here.
That's weird. I don't like it.
Technically, the class is called Pro-Am, right? That he's
Yeah, but
running?
I think Pro and Pro-Am have basically the same rules, if I remember correctly. It's just that you can't have a pro driver.
Oh, okay.
Because there are, like, Tilton runs, the guy who owns the Tilton Evo runs in Pro-Am, and their pro driver runs it in Pro. So I'm pretty sure the class rules are the same. It's just who's driving.
I opened up their rules document at one point, and it was upside down, and
Couldn't be bothered.
I can barely look at rules for classes in the U.S.
There's
a
a couple of things that I like about their rule set, and there's a couple of things I don't like about their rule set, which is kind of the way I feel about almost every rule set on the planet.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things that they do that's interesting. Minimum weights on unlimited class cars, I don't feel very strongly about that in a positive way.
I would agree with you on that.
dumb.
100%.
It's really dumb. But anyway, yeah, he went out there. He did reset it. There's no taking that away. But I don't think it was a ton of time. And I think he said something like on data he had over another second to go if he could put it all together.
Right.
And he told us before he went out there that like he was going into those corners at like what he would consider 5/10 and still running 125s.
Freaking wild.
I mean,
yeah, because he went out the first session on the same tires that he ran at Coda and at Road Atlanta. And I talked to him after that one, and he was like, he was debating whether he wanted to put stickers on. He was like, I don't know, it's so hot, but also like the track's probably with all of the different things that get run on it through the weekend, like Thursday afternoon is probably the time to do it for the track. And so he ended up swapping stickers on, and that was when he ran I think it was like 5/10 or something like that. It wasn't, or 4/10 maybe. It's like a 23.7 to a 23.4.
Yeah, I think it was 3 to 5/10. Which, I mean,
Yeah.
Will's time was nothing to shake a stick at, so going faster than that is still wildly impressive. But he said he had another second on the table,
Oh, yeah.
potentially, which is wild.
Yeah, on Saturday whenever we went back out for the qualifying session and then for the podium sprint, it was just all traction control all the time until it was in like fourth gear or fifth gear.
Every year I'll be standing there watching that car, and I'll hear people like, he'll come out at turn 3 going down through 4 into 5, and the car's just in traction control the whole time. They're like, oh man, that car misfires so bad, it's gotta be. I'm like, no, that's not what that is. That's his computer going, holy fuck, what am I supposed to do with this? That's traction control.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so off of turn 11, there's a couple different holes in the fence to shoot through, and the acceleration from 11 up just through the very first part of that straightaway, it's just mind-boggling.
yeah, that's got.
And it was in the low power setting.
Yeah, I still think that was done on relatively low power for him. I think wastegate pressure. I think
Yeah. Wild.
so. I can't wait to see that car at World Time Attack. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it seems to be that it's in as good a place as it can be from a shaken down standpoint, and I think from what he was saying, he's going to get some time on the track in a different car whenever they get down there, so he'll have some familiarity on the track, not in the vet, but in another car. And yeah, so he's been posting on Instagram with all of his spares packages and everything. And yeah, it'll be fun to
So
watch.
crazy.
Basically shipping 2 full cars to Australia.
So crazy.
No.
But I don't know. I think, like we said, GLTC finished 2 out of 4 races under yellow. So that's kind of lame. I didn't even watch a single drift session this weekend or that weekend.
I watched a little, but not much.
Didn't watch any of
Yeah,
it.
the thing I've found with drifting is just like demo sessions like that. It's like it's cool for a little bit, but for me to be really engaged with it, it needs to be competition based.
It used to be really exciting to me. Like the first probably 2 and maybe into the 3rd year that we went to Gridlife, it was really exciting. And now I don't really care so much about it.
I will say that standing on the pit wall going into turn 1 where they're initiating
That's an exciting place to be.
is
Yeah, for sure.
intense.
Yeah, that's the best place to be.
I went up for like the second session on Friday, and I just had my camera. I didn't have my bag with me, so I just had my 100 to 400 on, which was way too long, and I didn't have my earplugs with me. And Justin Pollock went by, and I was like, I am not adequately equipped for this in any way currently.
I wish we could have got you in a car just for a passenger seat lap even, because I don't think you realize when you're standing there looking at least I never did until I got a ride on the track, that like coming into one is almost blind,
Yeah.
especially where some of those
Yeah.
guys are initiating.
They're nowhere close to.
So
being
they're
able to
like
see.
hucking it into a corner they can't really see yet.
Yeah.
And,
And then so the majority of them were running out wide
yeah,
to set up for it and then initiating.
yeah. But
And
not
then
Smack
Andy was Andy was
dropping it.
wall tapping.
wall tapping it
Almost.
on the inside and then swinging it out to make the corner. Because if there's anybody who knows that track on the drifter side of things, it's Smedgard.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that car is rowdy. I like it a lot. It looks so unassuming. It's just a plain white BRZ or FRS. I don't know which. I think it's an FRS.
Yeah.
And it sounds the absolute business. And he spins the living crap out of that motor. And he was doing 360s on the back, just whoop in the middle of the straightaway in the back. Yeah.
it's got a quick change in it,
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it?
which I still think is the next big thing in GLTC.
I said that to Julio too because he was talking about it because he was going to get different gear set before the next event. And
Yeah.
I was like, dude, the next thing you're going to see is
Quick
changes. Or at the very least, people are going to be running different gear sets for every track.
It's the only significant thing that no one's done yet that's not in the rules.
Yep. It will be a thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not an if it's a when.
If it's power to weight and optimizing, well, I guess if you have a Corvette that makes the same amount of power no matter what RPM it's turning, it's a little bit different. But
yeah, I mean, it will change how it reads on the dyno by changing your gear set. But
yeah,
you can accommodate.
You'll
for
just
that
need
pretty
to
easy.
have a handle on how much it changes it. But,
Yep.
But I mean, we already have, like ASM was doing test days beforehand. You could go out to the track. You can figure out your gear ratio on the test day beforehand, and then you put the car on the dyno to make sure you're legal for the weekend, and you go.
Yep.
Well, let's be real. If you're putting a quick change in your car, putting it on the dyno is like the least of your...
They're all putting them on the dyno right now anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The top 15 cars get dynoed every weekend.
Tuned. They get tuned every weekend.
Yes, get tuned every weekend.
Yeah.
It's not just on the dyno. They get tuned.
They at least put them on there to check.
Yep. They get tuned to the way the dyno is reading that weekend.
Well, yeah, because this, like, the air was so bad.
Yeah.
It was very gross. Yes.
So, craziness.
Oh, yeah. Ready for the next one.
Yeah. I know, like, last year I complained because I was so busy on the dyno that I didn't get to do much of the spectating part of that.
Yeah.
This year I didn't really do much spectating, and it wasn't because I was busy. I just didn't.
Yeah. No,
It's kind of a hard track to watch.
It is a really hard track to watch. Spectator Hill's a really good place to watch from. It's a really hard place to get to.
Yeah, I got all the way out there on Friday morning just in time for that hour and a half oil down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was standing on the hill and like debating where I wanted to go, and then I saw a giant cloud of white smoke and was like,
Son of a bitch.
I guess I'll head on back and get some lunch.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's all I got.
Yeah, that's a
It's a podcast.
that's one 10 Tenths podcast or like 5 Submangle shows.
They've been sliding up longer. The last one they put out, hour.
What?
Yeah.
That's like track walking territory.
Should look into some intellectual property protection on
On length.
more than 1 hour podcast.
Yeah. That's why I never
Only
feel
10 Tenths podcast and Joe Rogan are allowed to be more than 1 hour long.
Yep.
Matt Farrell will talk that long too.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
So,
Anyways.
And Dinner with Racers, but yeah.
well, thanks for coming, Dusty.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm glad you were able to experience it and that it wasn't a total letdown this weekend.
And that I didn't leave you in Michigan.
I am sad
were in
that you
Illinois
didn't
by
get to
then,
see either the Formula Supra or the 4-rotor,
Yeah, I guess I'll have to come back next year.
but it was still a good weekend.
Yep. It was everything that I was hoping that it would be from the standpoint of just the overall atmosphere of it was like one of my favorite places that I've ever been for 3 days.
I know that a lot of you guys who have driven at a lot of events hate the idea of going to these events without driving, but I feel like this is one that you can get away with.
Yeah, for sure.
No, so the more I think about it, I've had kind of like that kind of realization that I think you did a few years ago about where driving is in
What it means to me,
yeah,
how I want to be, what kind of car guy I want to be.
yeah, and so we got the taste of the juice by going and having success in Optima with the Camaro, and going out and doing track days and stuff like that. To me, doesn't do it for me. And I look realistically at what the field is in a grid life at any given time, and I know that I'm not like short of building a crazy unlimited version of the Camaro. I don't know like where that car ends up competitive at any point in grid life with my driving skills, and two, the limitation of the platform, or the Z is another 20 grand away from being able to kind of sort of be competitive somewhere. Either way, whenever I shoot the start of a GLTC race and I'm trying to get as much as I can of those first couple laps, whenever I walk away from that, I've got the shakes like I do after I get out of the car. And whenever I'm trying to keep up with drift cars that are 15 feet away from me on the outside of the wall and stuff like that. Going and shooting has become like a really solid thing for me to go and experience a lot as a kind of a side hobby from the driving side of it. So that I increasingly think that that's my place in the Gridlife ecosphere is as the media guy. So that being said,
I'm glad we could facilitate that.
Yeah, this is on us. Really.
I'm good with that. That's way less life destroying than almost any other of my friends who I have ruined in some way, shape, or form. Because let's be real here, Robbie. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be doing this.
Probably not.
Not at this level.
Not like this, no.
I mean, you'd be a car guy.
Yeah.
It'd be a very different form of car guy.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have got to here or actually would have got on track or not.
Josh Fettis wouldn't be in the situation he's in. Dalton probably wouldn't be in the situation he's in.
Oh, God, no. Definitely not.
Probably not. I mean, because that isn't directly me, but it is roundabout me.
Yeah.
I ruin a lot of lives.
Yeah, you're a problem.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not.
You and Adam Jabay. Adams ruin lives.
Don't get me wrong. This isn't me, like, apologizing.
No.
Or, like, I sleep well. Don't get it twisted. But, yeah, it's kind of my fault.
Yeah, for sure.
For a lot of people. But, like, so I feel like Dusty, if anything, I've made it better. Because camera gear is expensive, but it ain't car.
It can be.
It's not nationally competitive car racing expensive.
Well, where I was going with that is my car's loaded up right outside that window, and I'm going to go test the stupid new brakes that I put on it tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn. So yeah, we'll see tomorrow afternoon how I feel about cars.
So I guess what it really is that it gives him an outlet until he finally gets to the point where he has spent that $20,000 he needs to spend on that car, because it's going to take.
Not an if, but it's
not. But this way, it doesn't have to happen so fast that he puts himself in danger of his first divorce.
First one.
First divorce.
Statistically speaking.
She knew what she was signing up for on that side of things.
So this way he can roll into it slowly, way less likely to cause a problem.
That's fair.
I bought him a few years of happiness.
Yeah, because he's all excited about these new brakes with factory ABS. So we'll be talking about Mark 60s here real soon.
Tracksuit.com.
Yep.
Yeah, I have a document in my inbox about that, but
yeah.
I'm gonna be stubborn and just do a dual master bias bar on it. And
okay, Dalton.
Have real man brakes.
Okay, Dalton. Are you going to take the power brakes out? Even you going to make it full manual brakes?
Yeah, I want full. Well, basically, I want it to be as close to the Camaro as possible.
Which I assume is not power assisted brakes.
No, it's a Willwood bias bar.
Yeah,
full manual, big burly, mash the living crap out of the pedal to make it stop a little bit. Kind of setup.
That sounds great.
Says the Mark 60 guy.
I like my Mark 60 a lot. a lot.
Like so much that you were getting ready to retro it onto an NP01 even.
Oh, yeah. That was the plan for sure.
I know.
That's why I documented it the way I did.
I know you did. So.
But this might be the longest episode we've done.
All right, let's shut it down. I'm tired.
We should wrap this up.
Is it really that late?
Yeah, dude, it's late.
Fuck my life.
That's what I'm saying. All right, we'll catch everybody next week or month or whatever.